Big up, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Talk Back Tuesdays. I'm your host, Tarek Peterson, and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome. If you've been here before and you're back again, I appreciate you showing up. As always, so many of you show up every single week, and we really do appreciate it. I see Spartacus. That's cool. Whenever you're ready, man, just hit the link. And not just for Spartacus, but for anybody. This show is intended to be a show where I don't just talk at you, but I hear back from you. You get a chance to talk to me. You get a chance to talk to the chat. You get a chance to talk to the audience, anybody watching, and have your say. I'm sure there's a lot to talk about. If you are a City fan, Man City fan, been a lot of conversation, a lot of discussion over the last few days. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about today. There's the Champions League playoff matches, first legs. There's a lot to talk about. So I'm hoping that you came prepared to have your say. That's what this is about. So big up to everybody that is here. Certainly appreciate each and every one of you. Big up City Slacker. Happy Mardi Gras. I've actually never been to Mardi Gras, to be completely honest. I've been to New Orleans a couple of times, but I've never been to Mardi Gras. So, I mean, big party, but I don't really know too much about it. So, big up to you if you're in that area. Sir Fritz, good evening. Good evening to you too, sir. I don't know where you're from, but it could be super late. Almost midnight. So big up to you. Okay, so you're originally from New Orleans. Big up. That's what's up. So you say originally from New Orleans, which says to me that you live in someplace else. So I won't ask you to tell me where you live because that might be too much information for these YouTube streets out here to know. But appreciate you for being here, man. You haven't lived there since the 90s. Okay, fair. I'm trying to think, when was the last time I have been there? I probably haven't been there since the 90s. So uh, cool. The one thing I remember about New Orleans, it was super hot. And that was the first time somebody told me about, and I was a kid, right? So probably teenager, maybe 10 to 12, somewhere in there. But this whole idea of it being so hot that it could you could fry an egg on the hood of a car or on a sidewalk or something like that. It was like, what? Who does that? Who wants to live here? But now I live someplace where it's cold and snow and all that, and so maybe New Orleans might be a good idea. Big up from Los Angeles. Big ups to you, man. West Coast, so a little early for you. It's 3:37 your time, so appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate everybody being here. Sir Fritz said he's Central Time. Big up. Like the Chicago area, Midwest. So cool, cool. Big up, Adam. Big ups to everybody. Again, if this is your first time being here, do me a favor. Like all streamers, we're trying to grow our channels, trying to improve on what it is that we do. And the only way we do that is if you, the viewer, the watcher, the listener, if you do me a favor and if you hit that subscribe button, should be right down below. Hit that subscribe button. That helps me grow my channel. I think I am. I'll put this up, but on that race to 500, trying to get to 500 subscribers. And so if this is your first time and you're not already subscribed, do me a favor, hit that button. I know a lot of you are regulars. You've been here every single week. And so we certainly appreciate that. Do me a favor. If you're a regular and you've been here, you're already a subscriber, go ahead and hit that like button. Again, that helps the algorithm know that, hey, you appreciate what it is that we do. You like the content, all of that. All right. We will go ahead and get into it. I hate doing too long on these uh the formalities. Gotta tell people to hit the subscribe button, gotta tell people to like the content and all that kind of stuff. But you want to get into what it is we want to talk about. And of course, we're here to talk about City, we're here to talk about footy, we're here to talk about VAR, or the absence of VAR, and how it doesn't really matter, we still get bad calls. All of the things, we want to talk about. So big up everybody. If you don't already know, um, go ahead, put your comments and questions or whatever in the chat, and I'm gonna do my best to make sure they get read and responded to. Uh, because of each and every one of you, the reality is sometimes the chats are coming in faster than I can keep up, so I don't always get to all of them. But if you leave a message, I will try my best to bring it up on the screen so we can talk about it. All right, let's get going. Um, big up, uh, big up, Magnus. Appreciate you, brother. Harry said he's going to be lurking behind the scenes. That's what's up. Appreciate you. All right. So there's a lot to get into. Let's start. We're going to go back to the City's game in a minute. But before we do that, let's start with today. Just start with today. Today is Champions League playoff round. So first leg, playoff round, first leg. There were a couple games today. There'll be a couple more games tomorrow. So Galatasaray played Juve, beat them 5-2. Juve ended up with a red card in the 67th minute. So for about 23 plus, stoppage time or whatever minutes, Galatasaray had were playing against 10 men. But I don't think it mattered because I think they were up pretty quickly in this game. So they ended up with a 5-2 beating of Juve. Tie goes to Juve next. So there is a chance, but I feel like that tie's pretty much already put to bed. Looks like Galatasaray will probably be moving on. So we'll see if Juve have a comeback in them or not. Dortmund beat Atalanta 2-0. Pretty straightforward. It appears no red cards, none of that stuff. Monaco lost Monaco lost to PSG 2-3. Monaco ended up with a red card in the 48th minute. So again, out of these 4 matches that got played today, 2 of them ended up with red cards and teams down to 10 men. So it's crazy in the with what these referees are doing. It does feel like there's a different refereeing standard. I'm pretty sure there's a different refereeing standard in Champions League versus Premier League, of course. But it's definitely, you see these red cards happening quite frequently. But then the big game of the day, the big game of the day was Benfica at home against Real Madrid. Benfica ends up losing 1-0 to Real Madrid. Vinny Jr. Gets the goal, and unfortunately ends up in the midst of another racial incident, if you want to call it. I didn't get to watch the matches. My schedule has changed so that Tuesdays I'm in the office, so I'm not able to watch Tuesday matches anymore because I'm not working from home. So I didn't get to see any of these games, but when I'm looking online or whatever, looking at Fat Mob, they have a this is a quote out of the Fat Mob kind of the summary or the match report. Tuesday's match was overshadowed by chaotic scenes as the action was paused for 10 minutes in the immediate aftermath of Vinicius's 50th minute strike. It goes on to say there was a lengthy stoppage immediately after the goal, though, with Vinicius running over to referee Francois Letexier following an interaction with Benfica's Gianluca Prestiani, with the officials stopping the game in line with UEFA's protocol for players raising allegations of racist abuse. So again, Vinny scores a goal. Sounds like he celebrates, he dances. And I don't know if that is what caused or kind of sparked this situation. I'm not going to say cause because, again, you don't have to do and say anything racist at all ever. But I don't know if that's what sparked this situation or if it was before that. If you watched the game and you saw this situation, or if you saw the highlights or whatever, put in the chat what happened. Again, we don't know. We don't know what was said or not said. We weren't there, but it just sucks because, being in the US, this is February. It is Black History Month. Talk about that in a little bit. But to see consistently these kind of situations still popping up, it's just unfortunate. And it doesn't have to be this way. I don't know why the world is as divided as it is. But I think I know there are people who benefit from and work to keep us divided. Unfortunately, and unfortunately, it tends to work. So, big up, Louis.
Big up, man.
Brother.
Thanks.
Louis is always here with us each week. So most weeks, let's say it that way, most weeks. So big ups to you. Glad to be here. Glad to have you. Did you see any of this Real Madrid game?
Yeah, I was watching it. Unfortunately, I'm still kind of shaken about it because it's amazing how still in this timeline, like in 2026, this kind of thing still goes on. Yeah, it's really annoying, and the players that have been sent off. Benfica should be, yeah. It's really annoying. It's really fucking annoying that it still goes on, and it shouldn't be. It absolutely should not be like this.
Yeah, these two teams played a really close last game of the previous round.
20 days ago, apparently.
I'll say it wasn't just recently, like a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, 20 days ago, less than 3 weeks ago. They played, and it was a really close game, came down to the wire. Benfica got over the line at the very last kick of the game, basically. So I'm sure there was a lot of frustration and Real Madrid trying to get back, but regardless of whatever happens, this kind of stuff is just uncalled for. And unfortunately, we got to talk about this. And I don't want to spend too much time on it because, again, I don't want to give it life. I don't want to give it power, but it's still there, and it's still a thing. And that's the unfortunate thing. Like you said, we in big 2026. Why are we still dealing with this kind of stuff? But like I said, unfortunately, I do believe that there is, I think there are people who benefit from keeping the world separated and peoples from being together. And so, unfortunately, at times it feels like they're winning, but we won't stop. We'll continue to move on and continue to embrace one another, and especially in the sport that we love. We were gonna say something. Go ahead, Louis.
Who was on commentary in America for you?
I didn't get to watch it. I was at work, so I didn't get to watch any of it.
I had it on Amazon because Amazon have a package to do it every Tuesday night. They have a certain game, and because of what happened, they had it tonight. And Mark Clattenburg, what the fuck? Saying what he's saying, he's saying it's on Vinny for doing the celebration. No, it's not.
Yeah, that happens every time this kind of situation comes up. He gets blamed, and again, we can say, well, and I think I heard a quote. I didn't when I was coming my way home. I heard a quote that was attributed to I believe was attributed to Jose Mourinho. Again, I don't want to put that on him, but that's where I think it was kind of attributed to. But basically saying, hey, he scored a wonder goal. He's probably the only person that can score that goal. Giving him a lot of credit for the goal itself. Big up, Danny. But then also saying, but he should just go celebrate with his teammates as opposed to, stirring up 60,000 fans. And again, I'm not one to, I don't like blaming the victim, who I'm going to assume is in this case is Vinny Jr., who's, whatever, receiving that kind of a treatment. I don't want to blame him. But at the same hand, again, I'll just leave it there. I don't want to blame him. I think that, it's easy to say, well, if he didn't do this, if he didn't do that. But again, there is no situation, there is no thing, no problem, no whatever that makes it okay to use that type of language. And again, I don't want to focus on this because it's just the negative. So I want to get to the positive. I want to get to the fun stuff. I want to get to the games and all that kind of stuff. But it's unfortunate because we do still have to deal with this kind of stuff, and that's unfortunate. But Danny, did you see the game at all? The Real Madrid match?
I saw how all the games ended and sort of what happened.
Okay.
I'm very disappointed, and obviously the elephant in the room, there is no justification for any racist behavior whatsoever. And it's a shame that in 2026 this kind of thing is still happening.
So agreed. And shifting from that situation slightly and just looking at the game itself, when they played in the last round, in the previous, the last match of the last round, it felt like, it
No,
felt
January,
like,
sorry.
was it January?
Yeah.
It felt like Benfica were basically on the ropes. Real Madrid just couldn't get over the line, and they were holding on. And then they snuck one at the death. Now, how did it, kind of this whole smash and grab? How did this match go? Was it pretty much the same? Was Real Madrid dominating, or was it Benfica kind of keeping it close, and then getting their chances here and there?
See, I'm not sure because I didn't watch.
Didn't watch the whole thing.
Based on the stats alone, it looked like
they should have been outside. Mbappe didn't have his shooting boots on.
Okay.
And as Alan Shearer said on Amazon, like Vinny took the hardest chance that Real Madrid had and took it. It was an unbelievable goal.
Yeah. So from a City perspective, well, before I do that, so those were today's matches. Tomorrow sees Karabag versus Newcastle. Newcastle away, going to Karabag. Inter going to Bodo Glimt. Atleti going to Club Brugge. And Leverkusen going to Olympiacos. That's tomorrow's matches, and then of course, I think next week or week after we'll see the reverse fixtures. From a City fan perspective, we know that we are going to get one of either Bodo versus Inter or Benfica, Real Madrid, right? So if Real Madrid wins, then that kicks out Benfica. We're not going to get them. So it's going to be probably a Real Madrid, Inter, maybe. We'll get one of those two. Of course, you see all the comments, things like this. It's so boring playing Real Madrid every year. But then you see comments like this. I want to draw Real Madrid, revenge season. So, we do play them quite a bit. When I first started watching, I remember playing, well, not when I first started watching, but, we played Shakhtar Donetsk a ton. Yeah, we played other teams. We played other teams a lot as well. But it does feel like we've been playing Real Madrid a lot recently. It doesn't mean that we will get them necessarily if they go on. But it just feels like we're guaranteed to get them, right? It's the same thing. We're going to talk about Newcastle. It's the same thing. We play Newcastle like every other weekend. We're playing them. So,
you're going to hate me when we talk about Newcastle later.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it in a minute.
Oh, we'll probably be talking about them next month when we get them in the Champions League.
Semi-finals, possibly, if we get that far.
Big up, Kathy. Appreciate it. Always appreciate you having you here. So those are the matches from today. We talk about tomorrow's matches. We listed those off. And then again, we talked about how that potentially sets up for us. We're going to end up with one of Bodo versus Inter or Benfica, Real Madrid. So those are the ones that we're paying close attention to as City fans. But of course, all those matches in general are going to impact the Champions League. So also tomorrow is Premier League match, Wolves versus Arsenal. Now, I know a lot of people do the whole hate along, watch along, whatever. I'm not one of those people, one, because I'm working at this point in time, but also because I just don't have any confidence, and I never really like depending on other teams, rivals, or whoever to try to do us a favor. I never get my hopes up because I just don't, think teams typically do what we need them to do when we need them to do it. Now, I appreciate it when it happens, and sometimes it does happen, but I don't typically like to get my hopes up and then just be disappointed because I go into these kinds of matches just assuming Arsenal's going to win. I just go in assuming they're going to win, and then if something else happens, then I get happy.
Especially,
did either of you two think though that Arsenal going to easily cruise and beat them at the Emirates early on, and then it turned out to be one of their harder games?
Again, I hope that happens, but I don't believe it's going to happen. Go ahead, Danny. You were going to say
Yeah, I was like, I don't think there's any point. They're playing against a team that's like on the borderline record-setting pace in a bad way. I don't have any problem with people doing hate-alongs. What I have a problem with is when people voluntarily do hate-alongs and then Arsenal win and they're like, "Oh, I'm so bored. Oh, it was such a bore." Like, you chose to watch the game. You chose to not turn it off after 45 minutes. This is your own fault. So
yeah.
Again.
Yeah, I don't, people can do what they want to do. And I sometimes I'll just flip over and see what's going on or whatever. I would never do one because I just don't. Why set myself up for frustration? I already know in my head they're going to win. Even if it's at the death, they're going to find a way. They're going to get extra time. They're going to do whatever they need to do to win. And I just don't, there's no point in me getting my hopes up for something. And I kind of am a little, I don't want to say superstitious because that's not really true. But if I look over and it's a draw and it's close to the end of the, it's like the last 10 minutes, it's a draw, last 20 minutes, it's a draw, or God forbid that Wolves were to be winning. At that point, I really don't want to watch it because I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to. They've been winning all this time, or they've got a draw all this time, and then all of a sudden, I turn it on and it all falls apart. That's just my luck. That's what I figure is going to happen.
It's also the fact that, like, for me, hate watch culture started during like Klopp's Liverpool in 1890. That was the season. That season, the following season was like peak 90th minute penalty, 90th minute deflected goal. Yes. So it's like after a few months of that, it was like, I don't think there's really a point anymore. I know what's going to happen. I'm just wasting my time here. So that's kind of carried over into Arsenal. It's like they're a good team. They defend pretty well. They'll probably find a way to win. And then people will complain about the fact that they're winning games, even though they have found a reliable way to win games, whether you like it or not. So.
Yeah, that's the whole conversation about the set piece FC and all that kind of stuff.
If it works, why not do it? Like we used to score set pieces all the time. Like, I don't know, pre-22, 23. We had their set piece coach, obviously. We used to score off corners pretty regularly, but that's not who we are anymore. So fair enough. They can do what they want. Again, it's just we got called boring by rivals for doing passing teams to death, but it worked for us. None of us really cared. If Arsenal
still get called that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, if Arsenal go on and win the league for the first time since 2004, for the first time in my lifetime, their fans won't care.
No, they shouldn't care.
No, they shouldn't care.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how it happens. Just get it across the line. And that's what we're going to see if they can do, if they can get it across the line. So City, we played on Saturday. We played Salford City in the Carabao Cup, the EFL Cup. We ended up with a 2-0 win. And a lot of people that I saw online, a lot of people were disappointed in the performance, not in the outcome, but because we got the win. But a lot of people were disappointed in the performance because, we didn't run out 8 goals like we did the last time we played them. But their manager came out and said, hey, the last time we played, they were in the midst of a decent season. They go lose to us 8-0 and it kind of derails the rest of their season. And so effectively he was trying to prevent that from happening again. So it's like I feel like they were playing less to win and more to not get like just stomped out, right? We just don't want to get beat badly. Keep it close. They said, I heuld the quote, or I heard the statement that they were training 11 instead of 11 versus 11. They were playing. They were training 11 versus 14. So they were trying their best to be uber defensive.
It seemed like that with the defense with the officials though. I can't lie.
Well, you said that. We'll talk about that in a minute too. So I guess my question for you guys, and big up Spartacus that you joined, and I didn't shout you out. My apologies, man. Thanks for joining. Should we have expected a big win, a big margin of victory with all that being considered? Do people who were, and maybe some of you, I don't know, do people who were disappointed at, I'll say the performance, maybe not the outcome, but the performance, do those people have a point, or is it just a case of just get it over the line?
Well, the performance was fine. It wasn't at the standard of I don't know, putting 5 or 6 past a lower division team like you'd expect. But at the end of the day, you look at it from the bigger picture. We didn't expend a whole lot of energy. There was a lot of just passing the ball around the back, trying to break them down. You don't get tired doing that. Salford are the ones defending for 90 minutes, even going 1-0 down. Again, if that goal was given and it's 2-0, they'd probably come out a bit more. They'd probably like, okay, no way back now. But again, you didn't expend much energy. You know, I hope Elaine gets better soon, but with all due respect, you didn't get an injury to a key player. So the scoreline isn't the most pleasing, but the overall outcome, it's fine. You made it through. You didn't use up energy, and everyone's fit who you want to be fit.
Yeah, Kathy said, just get the win. Just get the win. Magnus said Salford coach had worked on a game plan. And yeah, that's what I'm saying. That they were training against it was basically offense versus defense, attack versus defense. And you know, you put 14 attackers out there and you tell your team don't give up a goal. So when you're going against 11, this feels easy. So I feel like on one hand, they're a lower division for sure, but I'm pretty sure they're still professional as well. So, you know, they get paid to do a job as well. And they did it decently well. We did get a own goal off of a driven cross from Ike Nori, drives the cross in, defender trying to keep it out and turns it into the goal. I thought maybe it was going to, at one point they might have given it to Marmouche because he was right there. But
it was similar to Wolves, wasn't it? It was similar to Wolves, but on the other side.
Oh yeah,
where Marmouche cuts across, like when from Nunes, but it was Aiden.
I don't say because it was from the right side.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like Marmouche was making that same type of run, but yeah, it just came off the defender and luckily went in.
Yeah, and then we got the goal from Gahey, which I think this was his first goal of his City career. So big up to him.
It was.
But the talking point or the biggest thing about this match was the fact that Marmouche gets the ball on the right-hand side. Amazing goal.
Good ball by Kusanov, by the way, again.
What's that?
Good ball by Kusanov, like pinging it over to Marmouche on that side.
I guess I didn't pay attention to where the ball came from, but yeah, good point. But then gets called offside. Now, again, I've talked a lot on my channel and on these every other week. It feels like we're talking about VAR. We're talking about not just VAR, but just the state of the refereeing and how, as a City fan, as a supporter, it can feel like you are being targeted. It can feel like you are being negatively impacted unfairly by these decisions. And so when you hear a Rodri speak out, you agree with it because it's like, I can point to situations, I can point to these things that have happened and say that almost objectively, these are bad calls. Objectively, these are bad calls. It's not a subjective thing. These are objectively bad calls. And then it happens in this match. We don't have VAR, so you would hope that the referee would have gotten it correct, but he doesn't. And then there's no VAR to bail him out. So it's one of those things where it feels like, well, dang, we're just damned if you do, damned if you don't, as far as it doesn't really matter VAR or not. We're going to get bad calls against us. But again, I don't want to dwell on the bad call. I do recognize that performance wise, was it a great watch? No, it wasn't. It was actually, it could be boring at moments and time to watch the match. But if that goal goes in, or not even if it goes in, because it did go in, if the goal stands, maybe that makes them come out a little bit earlier. And so now we end up with more.
We also had the penalty shot where Stones got totally clotheslined on it.
Yes, there was another one. Yeah, because as a matter of fact, I think Jay from
I was more mad at that one.
Hold on. I'll say Jay from J Talk Sports. Go to his channel, like it, subscribe to it if you haven't already. But who most of you probably know from LB or Martin's channel, but mostly LB. But I think he was on Twitter complaining about, not complaining, but he was talking about the match and how boring it was and whatever. And I just simply said that if that penalty is given and then the offside or the offside call is corrected, we could easily have been up 3-0 at halftime as opposed to 1-0, and it feels like a totally different game at that point. But unfortunately, that's all ifs, ands, and buts, right? None of that stuff happened, and we didn't get those calls. We didn't get the offside correct. None of those things happened, and so you go into halftime 1-0, and it just feels like, oh my God, this is painful. We should be up bigger, and we could have been. So, Spartacus, I haven't heard from you. There we go. I was going to ask you, what was your thought about the performance at the weekend?
I think it's just a typical performance against a lower tier opposition. Because realistically, people saying like, I wanted to see more from Rico, from Reinders, Mamouche, and all those players. But if we're being fully honest, there's nothing they can realistically do in those games that's going to make them start the next game. Rico Lewis could score a hat-trick in that game, and he would still be on the bench in the next Premier League fixture. So all they had to do is guarantee that we're through, and we're through. So I can't really complain much.
Yeah. Louis, I feel like I cut you off a little bit earlier. Where were you?
No, you were still going on. I was just saying I'm more mad at the penalty, like the non-penalty call, than the offside, because offsides are offside, but that was like clearly obvious what the defender was like from the corner for Stones, because it's like clearly pulling him back, and it's like, you for real?
Yes. So I hear you, but I will raise you a linesman who was looking straight down the line, and the defender, he should be able to see both the defender and the attacker at the same time, and can't get that call right. That feels basic. And I don't know how you get to be the linesman of a FA Cup or match. EFL Cup match. That was FA Cup. That was FA Cup. Yeah. So FA Cup match. How did you get to be a linesman of the FA Cup match and you get that wrong? Now again, they're human. They get calls wrong. I'm not going to kill them, but it was so obviously wrong. You know what made me even more mad? And I don't know, Danny, you probably heard this too. Actually, I think everybody got the same commentary.
Yeah, go on.
Is it Leanne Sanderson? Was that who it was?
Yes.
Yes. Her comment about, he got it right, spot on. He was clearly miles offside. Clearly, like, what? What are you watching? How do you get to be in this position? And it is so obviously wrong what you're saying. You have to know the offside rule. So then how are you getting that wrong? Is it, I always wonder, do people do like announcers just support the refs so that the refs don't look bad? Is that like a requirement?
Yes. Apparently though, because I just like after the non-penalty, and like they said, like it was all fine. It's just like it happens in the box or whatever it was. I was like, I am not listening to this shit anymore. I'll watch it, but I won't listen to it, because it was just like, what the fuck am I listening to? Yeah. And then apparently in the second half, said about like playing golf with Carl Robinson, like the manager in the week. It's just like,
this is what I mean. It felt like they were talking for 90 minutes straight. They never breathed. I think I tweeted out, these commentators felt like they needed to have an opinion on absolutely everything.
Yeah. Like, instead of just letting the game, like you said, let the game breathe.
Tell me who's passing to whom, and that's all I need, please. I don't need to know your opinion on Cherokee. I don't need to know your opinion on gay. I don't need to know about your love life, even though it's Valentine's Day. Like,
I just think that we didn't learn anything. Refereeing in England is shit. Yeah, that's nothing new. Commentary in England is shit. Yeah, that's nothing new. The commentators back the referee, and most of the time, yeah, that's nothing new. So I don't get the whole like, they're against us, because again, if you go and talk to every fan, every Premier League fan, they're gonna be saying that the BGMOL is against them. Yeah, because they're just shit. They're terrible. Like,
and I have said that my glasses have a blue tint to them, so I see things from a blue perspective, and so when things happen, I tend to think oh, that if that were Arsenal, they wouldn't have made that call, or if that were Arsenal, they would have got that call, or if that were Liverpool or whatever your team, any other team than City would have. And again, I understand that is tribalism. That is, again, me seeing it from a blue perspective or whatever, and it's probably not real. And it probably balances itself out in the moment. But again, I can point to objectively bad calls and say that was bad, that was bad. And to your point, it's not necessarily because it's City, it's just because the refs are crap. And so, understanding
I
that.
think the only clubs that realistically get help from the referee are Real Madrid and possibly Man United as well. I think those two are the only clubs that realistically get some ridiculous calls that consistently help them.
I feel like I've seen Serie A fans complain about Inter recently. I know you've had this whole match thing 20 years ago.
I've seen the clips. I've seen the clips of Kaluuya getting sent off against was it Inter on the weekend?
Yeah, they're playing against Inter.
That was
I think Judge Mo, I think, is an Inter fan, and so I've seen him kind of going ballistic a little bit because, again, like you said, there's people who feel like they're getting calls that maybe they shouldn't get or whatever. So unfortunately, that's gonna be our life, right? So let me ask this question, because in the games before, everybody was like, get rid of VAR, it's horrible, it doesn't work, whatever. And then in this game, we got the call wrong, and now it's like, where's VAR? If we would have had VAR, we got it right. Do you, and you can put this in the chat if you're listening, if you're watching, go ahead and put in the chat your answer to this question. Do you prefer VAR or no VAR? Again, you're going to get bad calls either way, it feels like. So do you prefer VAR, which means there's going to be at least some of those calls corrected, even if maybe you disagree with the way they're corrected? Or do you prefer no VAR and just let the game go back to how it used to be, and you just live with the human error, you live with the mistakes, and you just call it a day?
I'm going to counterpoint this with another question. Do we get as many bad calls in the Champions League, in the World Cup, in other leagues? Not really.
No, the standard of English refereeing is clearly very low, which is why you don't see a lot of English referees at these tournaments like Champions League, World Cup.
That's fair.
So then is it the technology the problem?
Though, I'd say.
Come on. Yeah.
I'd say AFCON. I'd say the decisions at AFCON were insane. Though.
Oh yeah, no, AFCON, we don't speak about that. AFCON is crazy. Now, is the problem then the technology, the tool, or is it the people using the tool, using the technology?
Well, again, because it's not the semi-automated or whatever. There are, like you said, there's people involved. Even when we go to VAR, when we use VAR, there is still a human being that is watching it and making a decision. And so you didn't take away the human error, but you gave a second chance for a human to try to correct what might have been an error, if they're looking at the right things. And, sometimes they've drawn their lines wrong or at the wrong point or whatever. So again, maybe you still miss it. But there is an opportunity to get it right with VAR. There's not necessarily without it.
But even those penalty shouts for handballs or some of those things that have subjectivity to it, if you go to World Cup settings, you go to Europa League, you go to Champions League, Conference League, even for all the shit Spain is getting, Spain, French League, those decisions are pretty consistently correct. We're not getting those decisions wrong there.
Are you saying with VAR or without it?
With VAR.
So again, it's not the technology, it's the people it's the way it's implemented in England and the people who are running it.
Yes, I fully believe that that's the case. I think that the FA is incompetent and that the people who run it are completely incompetent.
Yeah, VAR works better in Europe.
We don't have
Kathy
problems
says,
in Europe
understand
with
why
VAR
VAR
usually.
isn't used before fifth round as too many matches to set up. And a lot of these smaller clubs probably don't have all the technology in place for VAR. Because I don't know. I guess I should ask this question. Do they use VAR in the championship, or is it
No.
only in the Premier League?
No, in the championship they do.
Okay, so championship has it, but not like League One, League
No,
Two.
League One, League Two, I don't think they have it.
Okay.
No, they don't. They don't.
Yeah, so
it's actually pretty
you got to
expensive.
get most of these
get
small clubs
VAR.
out before you could do it. Sorry, go ahead, Spartacus.
It's actually pretty expensive to get VAR running, so
Right.
those minor league clubs, they usually don't have it.
Yeah, which is why to Kathy's point, which is why they picked the fifth round. In theory, most of those small clubs are out at that point, and so now you can have most of those clubs are going to have VAR available as you move on. But again, there's no guarantee. And quite honestly, a lot of people at least like the idea of the small club and the magic of the cup and all that kind of stuff. So you want those small clubs to advance, but on the flip side, there's some technical and technological things that they miss out on. So it is what it is. But we got the goal. We got the goals that we needed. We win the game. We win the match 2-0. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't what we were hoping for. Some glorious 6, 7, 8 nil, just stomping.
Something
But
about 2-0.
somebody said 10-0. Yeah, so that didn't happen, but we advance and we move on. And we move on thanks to the draw that just happened. We move on to one of our favorite teams and one that we seem to be matching up with all the time recently. Another matchup with Newcastle United.
Again?
Yes.
Gonna,
are you just hearing this for the first time, Spartacus? Or are you just
it's Carnival. It's Carnival in Brazil. I've been drunk for the past 5 days.
We should probably just stop this and just talk about Carnival, but
yes.
I don't want to get anybody in any trouble.
That's not going to be very PG.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to get anybody in any trouble, but yeah. So it's Carnival, and you took a break from that to be a part of this. Wow, I feel special.
Yes, but it's also kind of over now, and I have to work tomorrow morning, so I have to get a little bit of a break. But yes, I also did get a break from it.
So yes, so if you are like Spartacus and you didn't know this, we have been drawn against Newcastle United. So the draw as it went was Fulham matched up against Southampton, Port Vale or Bristol City matched up against Sunderland, Newcastle and us, Leeds United versus Norwich, Mansfield Town versus Arsenal, Wolverhampton versus Liverpool, Wrexham versus Chelsea, West Ham United versus Macclesfield or Brentford. So that's the matchup. That's the draw.
Which is Brentford, because Brentford.
Yeah. Oh, did they beat them already? Did they play that match
yesterday? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the draw. Of course, the big thing as City fans, or a lot of us, most of us, whatever, City fans, Newcastle United versus Manchester City. We play them on the weekend, and then we'll play them again. So I looked at it. It is going to be the 5th time that we will have played them this season when we play that game. That game is scheduled for March the 7th, I believe. So we will have played Newcastle United 5 times. We've played them 3 times already. I think we have beat them twice. They beat us once. So out of the 3 times that we've played, it's 2-1 us. We got a game against them or match against them on Saturday. So that'll be 4th chance. And then the final matchup on the 7th, which I say final because I think technically there's still a chance for us to get them in the Champions League, maybe. So
semifinals.
Yeah. So it's just like every other match just feels like we're playing Newcastle right now. I do think that they have we heard the Bruno G injury, which is I think sounds like it's basically a season-ending injury for him, unfortunately.
Apparently it's reported he's going to be on until after the international break, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's
so that
here
one-
in Belarus, aren't you? Getting treatment, by the way.
So he's not out for the season. I thought he was going to be out. And
he's missing both of the games against us, which is
Okay.
like the important thing. Speedy
Yeah.
recovery, but he is missing both games against us.
Yeah.
Yeah, the FA
It's
Cup-
oil bros, isn't it? Joined at the hip. That's how it feels. It feels like, again, only one of you guys can keep advancing. So we're gonna make sure that only one of you go through. So if we match you up, only one of you guys can go through. So again, that is me. I told you I can be a conspiracy theorist, and I have blue tinted glasses. So yes, you know, I think that way at times. But so playing Newcastle United in the FA Cup going into, I think that's the 5th round that we're going into. You know who else is going into the 5th round? Arsenal. They're playing against Mansfield Town. And what we've seen from a lot of Arsenal fans and even the media is this idea of the quadruple. Do these people never learn? Do they not pay attention to like recent history? Do they not understand that nobody has won, quote unquote, the quadruple? City won a domestic quad. We won all the domestic trophies, but we didn't get the Champions League. It's effectively borderline impossible. They haven't even won 1 trophy, and they can't stop talking about winning 4. What is going on?
It's just they have to hype up people, right? They have to sell, they have to create like big headlines, and when there is realistically nothing to talk about, that's what they do. Like,
yeah, and we are technically on for the quad as well. We've been there, done that. Like we've been in a title race before. We know it's 1 game at a time. We're not. I don't think we're on for the quad. I'd be happy with even a trophy.
Sure. But the point that you're making, though, is if they're up for the quad, so are we, because we're still in all the same competitions that they're in. So you can't say they're up for the quad and we're not. But again, like you said, we know better than to try to position ourselves as, oh, we're going to win the quad. We got to win 1 trophy first. You got to win each game between now and the end of the season, or win the most games between now and the end of the season to even have a chance to win the league. Should they win the league from this position? I mean, they're up. They got a 7-point gap. It's a 4-point gap right now, right?
I would expect them to. Again, I've seen crazier. I've seen much crazier. So
yeah, and that's why all we have to do is not worry about quads. We just have to win each match, win the match in front of us, win the game in front of us. And if we do that, that will put pressure on them. And I really do in my heart of hearts that they will buckle, they will fold, because it's a pressure that they haven't experienced yet. Oh, well, I mean, you can say we ran them down and they bottled it last year and the year before, but again, I feel like they are heaping more pressure on themselves, talking about quadruples and all this other stuff. Liverpool was, I guess, famously going to win the quadruple back in 21-22 with Klopp. And I don't want to say it like dismissively, but they only, quote unquote, only ended up with the 2 domestic trophies. They won the league that year, and then they won
no, they didn't win the league. We won the league.
They won the domestic cups. They won both cups. They won the FA Cup and the EFL Cup, or the league cup. So you go from being in a position to where you're going to win the league or win the quadruple, and then the 2 biggest trophies you don't get. Again, I don't understand Arsenal fans who don't understand this, who haven't watched this and who haven't lived this, and understand that why are you putting this pressure on yourselves?
I don't think that they're going to do it, but I think if there is any time that anybody is going to do it, it might be now. Because we're not as good. We're not going to go 90 points. We're barely going to break the 85-point marks this season. So winning the league is not going to be as challenging as it was for Liverpool in that season, where they had to post like 90-something points and they still lost it. And the Champions League this season is not as stacked as it was in that season as well. but they had to just put a lot of emphasis into every game. So I don't think that they're going to do it, but I think if there is a season for somebody to do it, I think it might be this. I don't think
So
there is anybody.
To be fair, I don't think the 21-22 Champions League was that stacked either. Like Liverpool played Villarreal in the semi-final, for example.
Yeah.
But I think the sides were better than the sides that are there right now.
Yeah, no. The current field of teams is not especially good. I think Arsenal are pretty good. I think Bayern are pretty good. I think PSG are very inconsistent. I think we're good on our day, but again, on our day. I've seen what we're capable of on both sides of the spectrum, so I'm not counting my chickens.
I think PSG are going to be without Dembele for a long, long time.
Why is that? Did he get injured?
Yes,
I saw he got injured.
Looked like a pretty bad injury today.
Was it his hamstring? Was it his hamstring again?
I think it was the knee, but I'm not too sure. It was the left leg. I'm not too sure where it was, but it looked like the thing I got is that is worse than they initially thought. So that goes back.
I think this is a very, very good point. Because again, we do play them in the cup final, the Carabao Cup final, the EFL Cup final. If we beat them in that and take the first trophy of the season, I think it would be mentally demoralizing for them, and I think they will fold. Now, again, I don't think that's going to be an easy match to win, especially because I don't think Guehi's going to be available in that Carabao Cup. So, having Stones available is a good thing in this case. Diaz back, you can put Diaz and Stones together, but if you can keep Stones healthy between now and then, but so it won't be an easy match to win, but we'll see. Go ahead. What'd you say?
Is the game before or after the international break? That's a very important.
It's the last one. It's the last one.
Yeah, it's the final one before the break.
Okay, so Stones will be fit.
He'll be fit because he'll want him. But the only way he stays fit is if he doesn't play. So
he will catch
22.
He will be fit for the international break, even if he does play. He has a thing for being fit for England. It's quite supernatural.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty incredible that no one's really said that we actually have England's number 1 and number 2 center backs right now. They both play for us. That's pretty incredible.
That's true. That is
one
true.
Doesn't really play.
Well, he plays for them, but that's but doesn't play for us. I do think this is a good point, which is why I think Pep, especially early on in his tenure at City, pushed really hard to win the Carabao Cup, because we won it 4 or 5 years in a row. We did that because it gives you that first trophy. It gives you kind of a launching pad for the rest of your season, but it builds that winning mentality in your mind and in the players. And so we have a lot of people who haven't won a trophy yet, and so getting that first one will be crucial. Hopefully it's the Carabao Cup and we keep going, but we just got to get one. We got to get the first one, and then we can worry about how many more we can win after that. So yeah, I think that will be important if we can get that across the line.
Do you miss that? It's sorry, Sparkus.
I think even if we do win that game, I still think we can lose the league. Because have you seen the run up that they have?
If who do you think is going to lose the league?
I think we still lose the league if we do win the games.
So you think that we could win the EFL Cup but still not win the Premier League?
Yeah,
I mean that's possible. I mean, again, they do have an advantage right now as far as points, and I mean the games down the stretch aren't going to be easy. But
then it will, because they have no real challenging team. They're mostly either on beach or relegation fodder, who's already relegated, like Wolves. So
you got to have faith, player.
I agree. I would still say they're heavy favorites for the league.
Yeah.
But we've seen crazier things. We've seen
them drop points in games that they shouldn't be dropping points.
Yeah, United totally imploded in 11-12. There was the famous 4-4 at Old Trafford. They were 4-2 up
Wigan
to go, and they drew.
Wigan
ended up winning the league. So,
but I don't think that we're good enough to capitalize on them dropping points either, because I think we're going to have to be near enough perfect for us to even have a shot at winning.
This is
I don't think they
the
dropped more than 2
Sparkus,
points.
Can I interject on that really quickly though? I
Sure.
remember something Dan Potts said on LB's channel that, or I don't like one of those two, like after the game, Brentford Arsenal, that every single time we have played first and won, Arsenal have dropped points afterwards. And the 2 times that they've won, which were Sunderland and Leeds, they played first.
Yeah.
So that us playing first always has them going, okay, we need to win somehow.
Yeah,
I
but
Go on.
I think we have some very hard games that if we get out of there with all points, I'm going to be very surprised.
I disagree. I think it's just the Arsenal home game and the Chelsea away game, and it's pretty much even Stevens between the 2 teams. Aside from that, I know we have Villa on the final day, but you brought up teams being on the beach. They'll probably be on the beach. They'll probably be qualified for the Champions League at that point. So,
Conspiracy theory:
they also
Emery's going to let us win.
I think Leeds is also going to be very hard because they're everything we struggle against.
Arsenal didn't.
But Arsenal didn't, but they are things that we struggle against.
We'll see.
I heard this from other people before Galatasaray and before Newcastle. And before
every match.
By the way, Juventus, they royally fucked up.
They lost today. I said we called it out earlier, 5-2, and they got a red card in the whatever minute, 67th minute. So lost 5-2. Basically ends their Champions League. In their Champions League run.
Yeah, also came off with an injury, I think, as well. At half time.
Yeah. I think that I do think we can win the league. I'm not saying that we will win the league. I'm not there yet, but I do think we can win the league. I think our team is good enough to do that. And I think we're playing better now than we were 2 weeks ago, a month ago. We're improving. And I think Pep is found. He's found his thing with Nico O'Reilly in midfield, and then putting Ike Nori out on the left as far as a left back. I think that combination is what he was hoping for, and it's starting to work. And Nico O'Reilly's playing great. So I think those things are starting to come together that, quite honestly, we weren't doing well in a month ago. And so we will see. I think we can, and I think we're improving. But again, we have to we just have to go out and show it each week. There's no days off. So all right. So this is one of the things that I wanted to get to, but I hate to get to, and this is probably going to be a lot of conversation, and that is the comments from James Trafford. And not just the comments, but also the reaction from the fan base, because I feel like we kind of went over the top in all directions, and kind of showed some of the chinks in the fan base's armor, if you want to call it that. I'm gonna share. I just want you to see some of these comments, because again, there's just so many of them, and I want to get people's thoughts. So, starts out February 14, James Trafford on being Man City backup keeper. It wasn't what I expected coming into the season. I tried to guard against it. It's the reality, and I have to give it my best shot. It's the situation that I'm in. That, to me, is fairly straightforward. It's fairly obvious. Maybe people didn't like when he said it, but I didn't see anything wrong here. I think he's telling the truth. It wasn't what he expected, but this ballooned into this ridiculous overreaction, I guess, from the fan base. If I go, no, well, not that one. Skip those. Here we have this comment. I don't know these people, so this is not intended to be a disrespect to them. But he's replying to a comment made by 9320. But he says, not the first time he's gone blubbing to the media either. I wouldn't give him another minute on the pitch in any cup games. Only got himself to blame. His early performances forced City to get an elite keeper, get another number 2 lined up, and get him out in the summer. That feels like an overreaction to me. It just feels like an overreaction.
So I've got 2 questions, both rhetorical. 1, why are people shocked? 2, why is it still getting dragged out? I woke up this morning, right before I went to class, I went on Twitter, and I seen Sam Lee still tweeting.
I'm getting there.
3 days ago, no one's shocked. They should have just left it at, this is the situation I'm in. That should be the closure they need. But we're still going. We're still making something out of it. Like, I don't want to be all fake ITK, but he's clearly leaving in the summer. He's clearly going to move on. I think everyone sort of knows that subconsciously. And it's like, again,
it's overtreated, by the way.
So I have a tweet probably at the very top of this list because I got them all bookmarked, but it basically says that City will try to loan him out as opposed to sell him outright in the summer. Obviously, I think we've accepted the fact that he's not going to stay. So now how do you could sell him, or you could try to just loan him and keep him, because one of the things that, and again, I could just go through all these tweets, right? But one of the things that some people have called out is, well, you had Donnarumma's manager or agent going out there saying that, oh, he's hoping to get back to Italy and all these other comments. Right now, maybe he said it in jest. I don't know. But the point is the comment was made. So again, I think if you're going to get mad at one player for speaking or whatever, you kind of got to get, now again, it's the manager or the agent, I should say, as opposed to Donnarumma himself. But those things don't get put out there willy-nilly. Big up Martin. Martin said he was going to come on. He's on. Martin, give me your thoughts on this Donnarumma situation.
Just give me 1 minute and then I'll be with you because I'll be on camera. Just give us 1 minute.
Fair enough.
Can I just say then something very quickly beforehand then? Before
Sure.
he goes. I find it mental how people are crashing on Trafford for saying this. Because this shows me how people cannot put themselves in somebody else's shoes. Because Trafford, the club told him use the passion that he has for the football club to sell him a dream, to then fuck him over the next 2 weeks.
So, but even that statement, right? So again, I'm saying on both sides, there's a little bit of over the top. I genuinely believe, right, that neither side, I don't think either side operates with malice or ill intent. And I think, and again, if I were to go through all these comments, you would see people on both sides very, very strongly making very strong comments. At the end of the day, you know, and you just said he got effed over by the club, right? I think that if you want to say, well, maybe Trafford shouldn't have made these comments, and maybe, you know what, you're probably right. Maybe he shouldn't have made them, or maybe he shouldn't have made them when he made them, or all of those things, right? But I don't think it was malicious. I think he was answering a question. I think he was being honest. And when field players aren't playing and they're frustrated and they're voicing frustration, we don't jump on their backs. We didn't say too much about Mahrez when he wasn't happy, when he wasn't playing. We didn't say too much about Kyle Walker or Cancelo when they weren't happy about not playing. Nobody should be happy about not playing. We shouldn't expect them to be happy. And again, I didn't think he said anything that was just killing the club or they did all these things. He didn't say that. He just said, hey, it wasn't what I expected. And then on the flip side, you know, you could say, was there a bait and switch by the club? Well, maybe they probably brought him in thinking he was going to get a chance to compete because Ederson was here. So he was going to be the number one, but we all knew Ederson's time was coming to an end. So they probably did tell him that there was a chance for him to compete for that number one shirt and maybe even win the number one shirt if Ederson didn't start playing better. So yeah, he probably did get a little bit of that. But again, I don't think it was malicious on the club. Ooh, we're going to F him over. I think it was the club saying, hey, we have this plan. And then all of a sudden, there's the proverbial market opportunity that says we can get one of the world's best one of the best goalkeepers for 35 million. What do you do?
You don't get the player. I'm sorry.
Again, if you can get one of the best in the world for that amount, I don't understand not doing it. And again, I was one of those people who was kind of, I won't say anti, but I was definitely on the fence about bringing him in to begin with, because I just wasn't sure if it made sense. And again, I like the idea of Trafford coming back, academy kid, all those things. I liked the story. It sounded great. It was wonderful. But the reality is, he may or may not be a better keeper than Donnarumma. And at the end of the day, the better keeper is going to play. And Donnarumma has a track record and a history that it's hard to compete with and it's hard to argue against. And so to be like, well, we shouldn't have taken advantage of it. Maybe that's possible, but I just don't think. And again, I think it's fair for people to feel one way or the other. I just think some of the comments are not even a little bit, quite a bit over the top. And I didn't go through all the Twitter comments because whatever, but I'm gonna stop talking. Martin, you're on camera. Tell me how you feel about this Trafford, not even just the comments, but just the reaction from the fan base.
Good evening, by the way. Hope everyone's well. Lewis, Spartacus, Danny, Tariq.
Dave, mate.
The host with the most. How am I surprised by the fans' reaction? No, I'm not. No, I'm really not.
Are you surprised by how divisive it has been? Because it really has divided the camp in two.
Let's say it as it is. A lot of our fans have become Player FC.
Fair enough.
And we can go back to Doku and Grealish if you want, because you had to go in a camp on that one. Then now you've got a camp of Cherky and Foden. We've got a camp of Gay and Diaz. We've got a camp, of Diaz and Kushinov. I'm quite frankly bored of the Player FC nonsense. I really am. So you've got a favourite player. What they do? We all have. But are we not all meant to be what's best for Manchester City? And I'm sorry, Donnarumma is what is best for Manchester City Football Club. I'm sorry, but this is not a popularity contest. This is not a beauty pageant. This is not a whatever. You know, at the end of the day, was Trafford probably a bit hard done by? Maybe, probably. But he's a big boy. He'll go to a new club and he'll get paid handsomely, and City will get the money back plus a little bit on top. It is what it is. I'm done with this. Like, players are going to come to your house for a cup of tea and a sandwich, and they're going to come and give you a house tour and a signed shirt, and they know you. They don't know who A, B, or C is on Twitter. They don't know who I am in the stadium. They don't know who anybody is. I don't get it. People have got to think that footballers are these loyal people. They're doing a job. And yeah, like I said,
who's going to be loyal to Martin. And for example, Foden will be loyal if the club respects him. If the club doesn't respect him, he's not going to be loyal. But if there is respect from the club to Foden, he will be loyal to City. I think Haaland is one that the club gives enough respect to Haaland, he will be loyal to City. I think there are players who can't be loyal, and I think there are players who are not.
All right, then. Question for you, Spartacus. Pep leaves next season, for example, and they bring in Maresca. You think Haaland's going to stay loyal then?
Yeah, probably. If the club shows that they have as much interest in winning as Haaland does.
When you say loyal, what do you mean by loyal? Because again, if I'm being paid, like if you took the money away, Foden is a local lad, but most of these people aren't. I don't think that they're loyal from the standpoint that I'm being paid to do a job. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I probably even enjoy being here, but yeah, when circumstances change or God forbid I'm not being paid what I want to be paid or whatever, I do think people are more likely to be like, I'm out of here.
I think a lot of the players, some of the players actually, they could be earning more money elsewhere. So just for example, if Foden wanted to leave, I think he gets a lot more money somewhere else.
So would you say Matt Gay's loyal?
No. He was fair to the club, but he wasn't loyal. Actually, to Crystal Palace, I think he was loyal.
No. If Matt Gay was loyal, he'd have waited till the summer and gone to Liverpool.
No, he's loyal to Crystal Palace, not to Liverpool.
No, that's my point. So he's in Liverpool's training camp, having photos with a shirt, doing medicals, got the training top on, and now he's playing for Manchester City. If you're a Liverpool fan, would you call that loyal?
But he was loyal to. He never was employed for.
No, hang on.
So why would he be loyal to Liverpool?
But my point is, he could have gone to Liverpool for free in 3.5 months.
Yes, he could have. Yeah, he could have.
So there you go.
Then he was loyal to Crystal Palace and got the best interest for Crystal Palace as well. Getting some money for himself, not going out on a free.
No, because even Glasner said even Glasner said because they're falling out over it.
Yeah, but he could have made it a lot worse, and this is also a part of being loyal. I think if Foden left City, he would be in a lot.
I'm sorry, Spartacus. I'm going to say this in the most respectful way. I think you believe in flying pigs and fairies because I think you think this football game's very, very loyal and everyone's in this for whatever.
Well, again, I think it's
be a little bit more loyal than other Martins.
I think it depends on how we're defining loyal, and I think to your point, right? When Gahey is leaving, I think he did a good job to make sure that Crystal Palace got money when he walked out the door. He could have, to Martin's point, he could have left in the summer, or whoever's point, he could have left in the summer and went on a free and got all the money to himself. He chose to leave and make sure that
in 3.5 months.
Yeah,
sorry, in 3.5 months.
Yeah,
that's all he had to wait.
But he chose to leave and made sure that Crystal Palace got money. So on one hand, you could say that was being loyal. On the other hand, he did leave. He didn't stay. He didn't sign a new contract. He didn't take less money to stay at Crystal Palace. So it depends on how you're defining loyal. Because if you use that definition, Liverpool will say, well, Trent Alexander-Arnold was not loyal because he should have left earlier and got money for him, or made sure we got money, but he left on a free and it benefited him, but didn't benefit the club. And so they don't think that he was loyal because of whatever. It just depends on how we're defining loyal.
I think that's exactly it. I think sometimes some players can act. Yeah, they will always have the best interest at heart, but they have, like, instead of acting 100% based on their interest, they can act like 70% on their interest and 30% into the club as well. I think Foden would never screw City over if City doesn't fuck him over. I think Haaland wouldn't fuck City over if City respects Haaland. I think there is.
That's different. I think Foden's different.
We don't have a way of knowing that.
Plus, I do think Foden's different because Foden's been a City fan from the day he was born and come through the academy.
So was Trafford?
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Trafford didn't come straight from the academy. He was in our academy, but he didn't come like from a baby. He's actually a Chelsea fan.
He doesn't really have photos of him in City.
No, Czech is actually a Chelsea fan.
I know he wasn't born in Manchester. He was born in Cumbria, which is fairly close. But
even then, I just think that you have some players that if you give you have some players that if you give the right respect for them, they will think about the club as well as you, as well as themselves. For example, you have players like in history, players that that had the talent to win Ballon d'Or, but chose to stay in their home club. For example, Francesco Totti. He had the talent to win a Ballon d'Or if he went to a Madrid or Barcelona, but he chose to stay at Roma. You have Haaland, who, yes, he jumped around from many clubs, but have you ever heard anything of him being disrespectful in any of their clubs? Every single fan from every single club that he went through loved him, never complained about him, was always extremely respectful on the way out, and it was extremely generous with the club that he was going out from. And I think this is what I mean by being loyal. It's being respectful to the club. And I think some of the players are not going to be respectful. I think Bernardo is going to be loyal to the club. I think Gundogan was loyal to the club. Kevin De Bruyne was loyal to the club. I think we had many that were loyal to the club. And
I'm not having Bernardo Silva. I'm not going to have Bernardo Silva chucked into that. When he begged, clawed, and borrowed for 2 years to try and get out the door, but nobody bidded. That's why he stayed.
At the end of the day, even if he did that, even though he did that, he still performed to his best ability in every single minute of every single game.
Yeah. I'm not denying that, but he did try to leave.
Yeah, but he didn't leave, and he didn't get. For me,
yeah, but he didn't leave. Yeah, but he didn't leave because nobody bidded for him.
Yeah, I know.
We've got to be also honest in that sense.
But loyalty to me is respect. Bernardo Silva acted with
respect. No, that respect and loyalty are two separate things.
But in football, for me, they're very similar. I think one comes with the other in football. I think having respect and being loyal go hand in hand.
Yeah. So
we'll agree to disagree.
Well, and again, like I said, we can parse the definition, and I think we can find a definition that I would agree with as far as loyalty. But then there's some that I don't agree with, and that's perfectly fine. At the end of the day, we can all have our opinions, and we can all have our chosen takes on it. Again, I think for me, the reason why this stood out is because I saw in my timeline almost in real time so many people picking sides, choosing sides. Sides were drawn up. I'm this one, I'm that one. And then it was to a certain extent, the viciousness and the how we were talking about the player, talking about the club. That to me was what was surprising, because again, while I think there is I don't know him. I don't know the situation. I'm certain that Trafford is frustrated. I'm certain he's disappointed, but I don't think that he has done anything wrong.
Nope.
In how he's conducted himself. When he has played, he's been professional. He's made great saves. He's done all the things that you would expect and hope for. He just is disappointed that he hasn't gotten the playing time that he would want to get. And I think for people to kill the kid, and he is still a kid, to kill the kid because he said it wasn't what I hoped for. Now, maybe there's a quote out there that's that's got all the context, and he's just like ripping the club. But I've not seen that. I don't think that exists. I don't believe that exists. I don't believe that he would do that because he's a professional.
What happened is the club. See, people forget this. The club actually put these players up in the mixer. They put them up in the mix zone. And every before the game or half time, they'll give players nods. You're going to be needed for media duty after the game. So don't go straight to the dressing room. Because you'll notice some go to the dressing room, some hang around because they've had the nod off the media guy at Sitter that they're needed to go and do an interview. People think these players are just pulled. They're not. The media team pick players to go and do an interview. So to be fair, Trafford was putting in on now. One thing I don't know is players can refuse it. Maybe they can. That I don't know, but they do get nominated. So he's gone in. He's had a good game. Of course, we're going to ask him the question. They've asked him the question. He's given an honest answer. For me, there's been no problem on his side. There's no problem on the club side. It's just top level football.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Neither side are in.
I think the club. If anything, the club is on the bad side on this one.
Sorry, is the club called Trafford FC or Manchester City FC?
No, it's called Manchester City FC. But you don't. I think especially if instead of selling him, you loan him, you're just destroying the kid, and that's not fair on the kid. I would like to believe that football isn't just capitalism, where you just fuck with each other and get the money out of it at the end. I'd like football to not be that if possible. Because what they did to Trafford is basically what companies do to employees on a regular basis.
So let me ask this question. And again, I don't want to, make this about your opinion, because you're welcome to it. But on one hand, isn't that the club saying, hey, we want you to be a part of what it is we're doing? We see you as a part of our future, and Donnarumma may or may not be here. We don't know how long he's going to be here. So we would rather keep you on loan and keep you as a part of the City family, as opposed to just completely sell you outright because we know how good you are. Would that in some respects meet your definition of quote unquote loyalty? Again, we may not agree with it, but that's the club being loyal to him. I want to make sure that you always have a home here at Manchester City. I want to make sure that, we're paying you whatever we're paying you. Maybe some other club can meet that. Maybe they can't. I don't know. But could that not be seen as being loyal based on your definition?
Not really, no, because that's basically the club asking Trafford to put his whole career on hold in case Donnarumma one day decides to leave Manchester City because he doesn't fancy it anymore.
Can I ask a question?
Then maybe he comes back.
Is it so your not yours, because it's just an opinion. A lot of people are frustrated because he's not playing, he's not getting matches. If going on loan gets him the matches that he's not getting right now, how I think it feels like that should be, hey, we're making sure that we're going to let you go so that you can get the matches. But again, we want to keep you. And again, I don't want to make this too much about which side people are on. You can see in the chat people have taken their sides or whatever. But it's just, like I said, it showed a divide that I didn't expect. And again, there's probably only those two sides. Maybe, I don't know, either you're for Trafford or you're for Donnarumma.
Okay, Tariq, can I check a question out?
Sure.
And everyone can answer this. Matheus Nunes, for me, has been one of the best right backs in the league this season. Would we all tend to agree with that?
Correct.
Yeah.
But the club's going to go. But the club's going to go potentially get a right back in the summer.
So is that being loyal to Nunes then, or is that just professional football?
It's having competition there as well, because like when we've seen Nunes be out of the team, our levels drop massively. Like they fall off a cliff. Sorry. So having that competition there is good for him, whether it be Kusnov or whoever else we get, like who we get in the summer.
I think with the fullback situation is very different to the goalkeeping one, because at times Nunes can go into the midfield, he can play in the wings, and there is a lot more rotation with outfield players than there is with goalkeepers. So I think it's a false comparison, really. I also think that Trafford, if the plan is to loan him, I think Alisson is going at the end of the season for Liverpool. If not, I think because his contract ends.
No, they've all.
They brought in a
They've got
keeper, didn't they?
Mamardashvili. They'll just
Yeah.
put him
Yeah,
as
but-
Yeah.
Even with Mamardashvili, if Alisson leaves this summer, Trafford can start for any side in the Premier League aside from Arsenal. He will be an upgrade of any goalkeeper in the league aside from Raya. And we're asking him to put that on hold to maybe one day come back to City for him to go on loan.
And he may not go on loan. I'm just, I saw the tweet.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go on loan. I do think they will sell him. I don't think they'll loan. I also think it will depend if they can get a good number 2 in as well. Because the thing is, he signed a 5-year deal. So City hold the cards anyway.
And how much did we pay to bring him in? Was it 35?
27 million.
So how much would you have to get to sell him?
Oh, they'll make a profit on it. Because Tottenham, there's a number of clubs: Tottenham, Leeds, Wolves. Don't think Newcastle.
He's not going to be playing in the Championship.
Yeah, he's going to get a Premier League club.
Yeah,
he's going to have a good career here.
Chelsea should be all over him.
Mm.
Even though
That's
Sanchez
fine.
has actually been very good.
I was going to say they seem to think Sanchez is decent.
Saying that again, I don't think City will sell to a Liverpool or a Chelsea.
Well,
Bayern have a rapidly aging goalkeeper who's good with his feet.
Yeah.
he could
No,
start for
they
Bayern,
do.
for Bayern.
I know they have Urban, who's also pretty good, but again,
I think,
I've got a
Madrid
major
is-
issue with it.
Isn't Courtois contract finishing at the end of the season with Madrid as well?
yeah, I couldn't tell you.
I think that's the case, so maybe it goes to Madrid.
Nah, Trafford to Real Madrid. No way. No, Spartacus. No way.
Who?
But yeah, we've had this.
Who are they
Same debate.
getting?
We've had the same debate for
Who
8 months. I'm just tired of it. I don't really care.
Can we just
Again,
listen? Donnarumma's number 1. Spartacus, I'm going to be honest with you. You're not a Donnarumma fan. We get it. We know it. It could be Billie Jean in the net. Take Trafford out. It's anybody above Donnarumma for you.
No. Let's think about this.
No,
where
it is
Madrid
Spartacus.
POV. Let's think about this where Madrid POV, because I think this is what triggered Martin right there. Courtois still is finishing at the end of the season, I think. He's already like 34, so they're probably not going to give him a new deal. Who are they getting? John Garcia is already at Barca. Neuer is old. There's nobody at City A aside from Mike Maignan, maybe him. But I don't think there's much between Mike and Trafford. They're not getting Raya. They're not getting Donnarumma. They're not getting Chevalier. They're not getting maybe Diogo Costa, but I don't think that there is much between Costa and Trafford. There aren't many keepers out there, Martin. There really are not many keepers out there.
Well, we know Newcastle was in for him when we went and got him. So there's a possibility they might come back in to try to get him. I saw the quote from Jack Gaughan from City Extra. At least, well, it's not a quote, but they summarize it. At least one Premier League club registered interest in James Trafford last month. And a number of suitors are expected to surface over the coming months. So the expectation is that he's going to have options, and I think we're all confident that he's going to have Premier League or top level football options. He's not going to be back in the Championship. He's not going to be back at Burnley. Whatever. He's going to have options. He's going to get a chance to pick and choose where he wants to go. And so, obviously, I think we all wish the young man the best. Maybe some don't, because this situation has changed how they feel about him. I think he's a young kid. I think someone posted he's 23, who has a bright future. And I hope it works out for him wherever he ends up going. Ideally, I would love for him to stay. Because again, I like the story. But I also know that, this isn't Disney Plus. This is real life. This is football, and it can be cutthroat at times. But
Tariq, I'm going to be straight here, because I did a lot of shows or a lot of spaces back at the time at this. When Trafford got signed, and he was going to be our number 1, before Donnarumma even got done, people were having meltdowns.
I was fine with it.
Yep, I remember, because here comes this championship. Who, when last time he was in the Premier League, didn't do well. And so again, I thought he was young. I liked the idea, and what I said from the beginning was I wanted Ederson to stay, and I felt like over the course of that year, or this year, this season, I felt like there would be a transition from Ederson as the starting keeper to Trafford as a starting keeper, but I didn't want Trafford to come in and be thrown in from day one. But you know, it's worked out the way that it's worked out. And quite honestly, I can't get mad every time I see Donnarumma make a great save. I can't get mad at it. That doesn't mean that.
But that's what we asked for.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that Trafford doesn't make great saves, because he does, and maybe some of those saves he makes, and some he doesn't, and some passes he makes, and some he doesn't. I'm not going to get into all of that. I just think that, again, for me, this story was less about Trafford's comments and more about the response from the fan base. That's what stood out to me. And to borrow your phrase, Martin, it definitely pointed out the whole player FC mentality. That's what stood out to me. So yeah, I'm sure we could keep going down this topic, but at the end of the day, let's not. Let's just let it go.
I think Tariq, that's all we've done all season. You know, Foden has a bad time. Cherky's the big boy. Diaz gets injured. I'm done with the player FC stuff.
Has there been a win since Wolves where nobody complained about anything afterwards? Even against Wolves, people are complaining that we allow chances.
We just don't celebrate wins anymore. We've always got to nitpick and find some. And we're in a title race here. We're in a cup final in 4 weeks, and all anyone wants to do is moan, bitch, and complain. I find it astonishing. I mean, I'm doing, like, tomorrow we're going to do is City being disrespected. I think it's disrespected by some in our own fan base as well, Tariq, if I'm honest.
It's fair.
Yeah.
I think we give rivals ammunition. I'm sat there listening to Arsenal fans tell me how they're on for the quad and their game's amazing and this. And all I hear is being second, and I know we're not going to win it because, again, Arsenal fans are disillusional with it. We're not going to win a quad either, but we're still in all 4 comps. And we're saying, well, you know, we might only win one. I don't get it. We're the first people to knock our own team and players down. I don't get it.
And I think there's balance, right? Because I don't think I have to be everything is rainbows and whatever, because that's not reality. But it's not everything is horrible either. There is some middle ground there, and I think it's okay to acknowledge that things aren't perfect, but things aren't horrible either. You know, and I feel like, and maybe it's just Twitter, maybe it's just social media, maybe it's just YouTube, but people feel like we have to take extreme.
Sorry to jump in, Tariq. Sorry, if we were perfect, then we'd be 10 points clear of this league right now.
Oh God, yeah, we'd be running away with it.
So, but I think that's part of it. That's our perfect. Arsenal's perfect is 4 points ahead of us. Our perfect is 10, 20 points clear.
I mean, to be fair, they should be 10 points clear, 11 points clear at the moment, but they've dropped so many points recently over these last couple. You know, it's just like they don't want to put us away. It's one of those games you watch and it's like nobody wants to win the league. Everybody like, okay, fine, City will just put it together at the end of the season and we'll go ahead and win it since nobody else wants to.
I think this season is going to be like 85 points champion, and it's going to be disgusting to watch.
Yeah.
But
so
85 points is high.
Right.
Well, because there were some leagues that were being won in the mid to
but that's my point, Tariq. 90 points to winning the league was the abnormal part of it. That was abnormal. Right. What's happened is that's become the norm to everyone.
That's
so
fair.
Spartacus, you've just contradicted yourself because 30 minutes ago you said Arsenal don't have any more challenges as far as their fixtures go. If they treat it like that, they'll finish on 93 points if they win all the remaining fixtures. Now you've just said
I don't think they do.
You've just said right. So then why won't we win the league then?
No, I said that I think that they're gonna drop points in 2 games, but I do think that we're gonna drop points in a lot more than 2 games. The max we can get to, Danny. The max we can get to, I think it's 87, right?
What we can get to 89. We can get to
89. So for us to get 86 points, we can only lose 1 game until the end of the season, or draw.
Can someone tell me how many points the great Man United won the league by?
Way back when, I can't remember.
I'll give you. I know. I'm being facetious a bit, Danny. I'm being facetious, not at you, just generally. I saw that great United team win the league with 70-odd points.
I was gonna say it was something in the 70s. I remember seeing that.
I don't. What happened was you just got a very abnormal situation with City and Liverpool that just went stir crazy for a year or two, and started putting up numbers that had never been seen in the Premier League other than Chelsea. And then everyone just thinks 97 points is now a norm of where you should hit. It's not. It's not the norm. I think what's happened is the Premier League's just settled down and gone back to normal again. That's just my honest opinion with it. I don't think City are bad. I don't think Arsenal are bad. I think Arsenal are exactly where they need to be in a title race, and they're dropping the points I expected in a title race. Same with City.
I think that the Premier League is falling off a little bit, at least the top teams. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with you. The top teams are falling off, but like the gap between top and bottom is closer than it's ever been.
That's what I think. Yeah, you're spot on.
But I also think that that's more because the top has been falling than the bottom has been.
I
no,
think
that's how it is. Because the money's there for the bottom teams now.
Yeah, money's the great equalizer.
Again,
yeah.
Aston Villa stayed because of goal line technology. They had a tragic team in that 1920 season. Now you look at them and they've got one of the best rosters in the league. So again, it's the bad teams improving as well. I know it's been 6 years, but
you look at Bournemouth. You look at Bournemouth, for example. They get Semenyo comes to us and they bring in Ryan, and he's absolutely killing it already for them. Yeah. He might go down in trajectory, but him coming in and doing what he's doing at Bournemouth shows the teams have the know-how to get the players that they need to replace the players.
I don't think that's going to last long.
Nottingham Forest are selling players at 50-odd million quid. You'd never have seen that 10 years ago.
Well,
they might be
if
making
Nottingham Forest go down, that might open up the possibility of some of their players moving for less than that, and that's what we're hoping for, right? We're hoping that they,
amen,
they can go down and make these price tags a little smaller. I got a question for everybody though.
Me personally, I'm sick to death of West Ham. I hope they go down. I don't want
Have you had enough of them, Dana? He's had enough of the Hammers.
So I want to revisit not the Donnarumma conversation, but just the idea of people leaving and all of that, because this was interesting to me when I saw it. Man City are making one last bid to keep Charlie Gray, who can leave at the end of his contract this summer, having stalled on committing to the club. The 19-year-old is on the wish list of Bologna and Lazio alongside championship interest. So he's got interest from Italy and then championship interest. Danny, you're my go-to when it comes to like academy kids and all that. Tell me about Charlie Gray. I know he made an appearance, I believe, earlier this season, maybe 2 appearances.
Yeah, and I was at that game.
Oh yeah. So tell me about Charlie Gray and how should I feel about him hedging on signing a new contract? I assume that Spartacus would say that's not being loyal, but tell me why I should care about this.
He's one of them classic CFA defensive midfielders who has good passing range, can create pretty well in the final third, and just isn't really a physical guy, more of a game reader. He's improved so much over the last 3-4 years. I think his first season, in televised academy football, was 22-23, and he was getting bullied off the ball left, right, and center. He was getting kept out of the team by Jacob Wright, I think it was at the time. Isaiah Dadamaskel as well. But yeah, I don't think his ceiling is like City league winning, Champions League winning level, but at a solid mid-table Premier League club, Even like you're showing Italian clubs there. It's a slower paced league that's not super physicality based. I think he could make it somewhere there. I don't think he's what we're looking for.
Torino.
Yeah, Torino.
I was thinking Torino today because I was thinking of the.
You were thinking of Joe Hart.
You think of Joe as well?
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm just thinking. I think some of these younger lads. I mean, this is Danny's wheelhouse. This is Danny's forte. This, but I don't think that the academy will. I don't think he will sign. I don't think he should sign.
I mean, what this reads like is they're trying to extend his contract so they at least get a fee for him. I don't think they actually care about keeping him about. Again, he's very, very good for like PL2 academy football level, but for like City first team level, I don't think he's there yet. I don't think there's a reason for us to force him.
The account, Alan Nixon, he's really like tight with like academy players.
It's good with, like, championship
across
stuff.
the book. Yeah, he knows the ins and outs of like basically every single academy team in the country, more or less. So if he's got that, then it's pretty much set in stone that he's gone in the summer.
I mean, we've heard all this with Eske, Mifuna. They're all out on loan.
What's Mukassa's deal, by the way? Because apparently he signed a new contract when he went to Leicester.
Yeah, he did, which was it.
Yeah.
Do you know, Martin?
I don't know. No, I still don't think he'll be. I mean, Mukassa, see that, if you want to do that properly, say, for example, we do sell a Mamouche in the summer, use a Mukassa and let him come in and be your number 2.
Totally.
But he doesn't give you what Haaland gives you, right? That's the whole point.
No, but what I mean is, if you're not going to buy it, if you're not going to, because let's be honest, Haaland is one of the few in that team who's the ready-made, who's going to start. He is nailed on guaranteed starter as you're going to get guaranteed starter. So I just don't want a third go around of Alvarez version. I don't want Alvarez, then Mamouche, then we go into a third rank of it, and then we're still playing second fiddle behind Haaland.
Yeah.
That's my issue. I would rather go and use a Mukassa and train him up.
Yeah, it also gives you false nine versatility. That's pretty cool.
That's just me that I'd like to do. Because he's big and he's getting minutes at Leicester now. So, and the Championship is a very physical league. You know, to me, I think that's the way to go. I don't like this buying a number 2, spending a heap of money, giving him a heap of wages, and you know where the exit door is. You know the exit door's coming. It's a matter of when, not if, because we can all bitch, moan, and complain. You ain't moving the big man.
Yeah.
That big man is number 1. And he ain't moving for no one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I want to I'm going to look at the rest of these transfer news. I see somebody who was it? Walter 29 said, if you have a chance to touch on the Livramento news. I'm going to get to that. I'm going to get to that with the rest of the transfer news. But before I do that, 2 things. Let me shout out Ain't Me. Big ups to Ain't Me. Subscribe to the channel. There may be others of you that have subscribed and I just didn't get notified because of the way, you know, the profiles are set up or whatever. But I do appreciate you, Ain't Me. Thank you so much for subscribing. Anybody else that may be here that if you're not already subscribed, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. It does help grow the channel. I'm a new channel. I've been doing this for about 3 months now, 4 months, or however many months it is. I don't know what week are we in, but I just do this on the Tuesday nights right now, trying to find that consistency as we keep growing. But in order to grow, I need you to do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Again, if you haven't already, hit the like button, do that as well. Again, those are things that do help, and every YouTuber, every content creator needs those things. So I appreciate it in advance.
Just when you're on the transfers, let me know, because I have got a little bit of an update on 1 or 2 things.
All right, I'm gonna get to transfers, but before we do that, I'm gonna open this up because, again, if you know, I'm in the U.S. You could probably tell by the way I talk, the accent or lack thereof or whatever. I don't know, but It is Black History Month here. We talked a little bit this morning, or not this morning, but a little bit earlier on the stream about what happened in Benfica and all that. I don't want to focus on the negative, right? I want to focus on the positive. And so every stream this month so far, we've been picking out your favorite Black players that played in certain positions that played for City. So we've done our wingers, we've done our midfielders. And so I want to do defenders this week, right? So this week, I want you to tell me, you can put
Wasn't it defenders last week?
No, we didn't do defenders last week. It was midfielders last week. So this week is defenders. So obviously the obvious choice, my favorite player of all time, my forever captain is Vincent Kompany, right? He's my favorite player. He's one of the people that when I started watching, I was like, wow, I like this dude, because he was aggressive, all those things, right? All the things that Vinny does. It's probably unfair to include Vinny in this conversation because so many people are going to pick Vinny, but he's not the only one. There's a Kyle Walker out there. There's a Julian Lescott. There's a Gael Clichy. There's a Kolo Torre. There's a Bakary Sagna. There's a Micah Richards. There's a Nedum.
Nathan Ake as well.
Nathan Ake, thank you. I was going to say there's so many other people that I'm probably missing. I don't know how I missed Nathan Ake. Thank you so much for calling that out.
You forgot to go.
So if you have put in the chat,
when did the goal play in the defense?
No. I was saying I'm the goat Mangala.
Oh yeah, see, I didn't include Mangala intentionally because I didn't want to kill him. I didn't want to kill him.
I was racking my brain earlier, thinking of how many City players I could name who have changed numbers while at the club. He's another one I didn't think of.
Oh, that's not a good sign. That means we don't see a future for you here. ask Calvin Phillips. So anyway,
we can't be shameless and claim Jerome Boateng as ours. He stayed.
Well, why not? He played for us was only for 1 year. Was only 1 year.
Yeah.
Calvin Phillips is always in my heart because he wears my he had the same number as my favorite Formula One driver.
There you go.
I can't hear it, Jerome, but it's like saying Frank Lampard's a City legend. I can't be doing it.
Big ups to this person here. I don't know how to say this. I apologize. I don't want to butcher it. It says my accent sounds like LL Cool J and Jay-Z had a son. So I don't know what that would sound like. But I know that son would have a lot of money. So I just want that. I don't need, just give me the money, man. Just give me the money. I would have been good to go. But anyway, oh yes, a Kanji. I missed a Kanji too. How did I do that? Of course, Gahey just joined. I didn't want to call him out. There's so many other people. There's so many other people.
Mate, we can throw Max Elaine in there while we're at it.
Yeah. So I did call out. So Mark Fogg said Lescott. I did call him out. Yes. But I want to know. So tell me about Sylvain Distin.
He started.
Basically, you Van der Ven's goal early in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Sylvain Distin is the original. No, because he was the first one I think who ever did that run against Villa. I can't remember what season was that. Danny, help me out, please.
What?
His goal, where he did that amazing run from the end of his box.
I want to say it was against Copenhagen.
I swear it was against. I thought it was against Villa.
Oh, against Villa. Oh, I thought it was in the Champions League. Van der Ven.
No, not Van der Ven. Sylvain Distin's goal.
Against
Villa.
I've got no clue.
Martin, I remember he scored against Villa, but I can't remember what season it was.
Mm-hmm. That's before my time. I can't help you.
4.5 million, or about 4 million quid. We bought him for.
I always remember he scored that brilliant goal, and he had a pass, and he just literally went past Villa with ease.
See,
there's another.
He was originally bought for as a fullback. Is when we bought him.
And then he moved into center back, or
it was a left back originally. I can't remember who he bought him from. He was at PSG. I think he went on loan to Newcastle from PSG. Can't remember.
Yeah, he was on loan at Newcastle and we bought him off PSG.
And then he went to Everton. He went to Everton afterwards.
Yeah, that's the Distin I grew up on. David Moyes, Roberto Martinez, the old
Didn't we buy?
Oh, actually, I
bought the
might have
Villa-
seen him then, because you said
and then Bournemouth bought him when they were first promoted in 15-16.
yeah. So I would have seen him at the end. I would have seen him at Everton. Okay, I didn't put that together. Gotcha. All right. So tell me, Terry Phelan.
Played for Chelsea. That's all I know.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Terry Phelan. He was an amazing fullback for me, left back. Very, very quick, very, very tricky. Not the great defense, but he was good.
So he would be good in a pep team then. You can go forward
but bought for $2.5 million. We got him and Keith Curl.
I was gonna say there's a shout from Magnus for Keith Curl.
Captain.
No love for
the
man who scored the winning penalty in '99, Richard Edgill. I know he was awful.
I haven't seen him. Here's another shout for someone I'm not familiar with, David Somil.
David Samay.
Yeah,
2006-7.
Yeah, one of two players, Guadalupe, who played for him and Thierry Ambrose.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We'll be at Hatem Tremelsi next.
And of course, there's a shout for Boateng that Martin didn't accept.
No, because can't do. For me, they've got to have been there more than a year and played more than 10 games.
Yeah. Shout for Delph. Yes.
Delph's a shout.
I shouted him out in midfield because he came in as a midfielder, but he also did play at left back.
Sparkus was Delph loyal to Villa Den.
Oh, hell no.
After signing the contract.
They called him a snake.
We sat 2 snakes in that one summer. It was
anyways, lads, I'll have to go now. Have a good one, everybody.
They ran him away. That's unfair.
Big up Spartacus.
Later, Spartacus.
Why is someone in the chat keep saying Echeverria?
I don't know.
By the way, he had
Is it because I'm wearing this from the Club World Cup?
I don't know, but we're gonna get to Echeverry in a minute when we start. Well, I think I got some of his because I think I have him commented from here and here.
Right. So what's our consensus here? We haven't decided.
So there's not a consensus as who's the greatest or who's the best, but there's a lot of names that were named, and I appreciate that because it gives appreciation and recognition for a lot of people. But nobody put Gael Clichy or somebody did put Kolo Touré, but nobody put Sanya either. So I don't know if they don't appreciate the guys that came over from Arsenal or not. I don't know.
Clichy's very underrated.
Clichy,
yeah.
Sanya came at the end of his career.
Because Clichy was on the left fighting with Kolarov.
And
Sanya was on the right.
On the right with.
Imagine those debates now, Martin. Imagine those debate now.
Oh, yeah, Clichy Kolarov or
Sanya. Basically, I think Sanya came just to like the end of his time.
Yeah,
greater years have passed them.
Yeah.
So
there was a shout for Nedum, which I like as a he's a great voice for City. He doesn't get over the top with it, but he doesn't let you criticize too hard either. And he's on ESPN, and so sometimes they can be coming for City, and he defends as well. So I think it's fair to say the club has had a good group, a large, decent sized group of really wonderful black players that have played at defender for us. And so you can continue to put them in the chat if you want, if you think of someone else that maybe hasn't already been named. Someone said no one mentioned Micah Richards. I did put his name in my list when I first went down the list, but no one called him out explicitly in the chat. And not only did no one call him, I will tell you that he will never be on my. You know what? When I first started doing this with Shades of Blue, he was like the dude that if we could have an ideal person to come on again, a bunch of Black City fans, it would have been great to get Micah Richards on. But then you realize, wait a minute. Nedum is who I thought Micah Richards is. Can
I cheat? Can I cheat?
Yeah, you can cheat.
Because Sean Wright Phillips started out as a right wing back.
Did he?
Really?
Interesting. So this is an interesting shout. Now, he didn't play for City, but Ashley Cole, best fullback of all time, which says to me that Harry Briggsy does not appreciate what Kyle Walker brought to the club into
No
football
one
in
mentioned
general.
Walker, yeah. So
I
yeah,
actually
Kyle
mentioned-
Walker.
Briggsy, all-time fullback in the like ever or Premier League?
Let's just assume he was saying Premier League.
Oh,
Do
Premier
you-
League. Premier League, yeah, he's up there.
Kyle Walker's up there. Kyle Walker's 100%.
Yeah.
Now, Ashley Cole was on the left. Kyle Walker was on the right. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So they could be in the team together. Yeah, I'm trying to think who else.
For me, I think Kyle Walker's near enough the best right back in Premier League in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I agree. You have the longevity of Gary Neville, but apart from that, I know you wouldn't put a United player above Walker. That's fine. But
I think Kyle Walker will look at his last 18 months and sours the.
It
So it's like the John Stones bit now, innit? Everyone's looking at John Stones in the last 2 years rather than John Stones.
Yeah, and
when he came in and the way he was.
I talk about longevity. Kyle Walker was starting games for Tottenham during the Aguero season and the 93-20 season, so he's been around for quite some time. He's had a solid.
Oh yeah. Well,
I thought we were going to get both him and
we tried to buy both him and Danny Rose.
Danny Rose, yeah. I thought we were going to get both.
Did his live stream like make City go, no, we're not going to get you now?
No, it was just Levy wouldn't sell both.
So Briggsy says Ledley King.
Hi. You talk about loyalty. He's number one.
Could have been someone if injuries didn't kill him.
Staying at Tottenham for as long as he did. Luckily, he got that League Cup in 2008.
But then you got Sol Campbell. And we're doing
See, we opened it up outside of the City. We could just go all night.
Yeah. We can go all night here on some of them that would talk,
So we're going to move. Not that again, feel free to keep putting them in the chat. I want to know because, again, it speaks to me, so I appreciate it. But I do want to get into these transfers. But before I do that, did you guys see Pep's comments about Savinho?
Yes.
And how he's coming back from injury pretty soon, but how he trains wonderfully. And
this is the part Savini. This is the part Spartacus didn't want to leave on.
I didn't.
I like your tactics, Tariq. I like your tactics. No, listen, I've said this for months and months, and everyone keeps laughing at me. The club have big plans for Savinho. They have big, ambitious plans. They think he can turn into one of the. I know this is going to sound crazy when I say this. In the club's mind, they think he can be one of the best wingers in the next 5 years.
I can kind of see it because, again, Pep really zeroed in on the assist side of his game in those quotes, and again, that's where I see him as best. He's never going to be a goal scorer.
He's been watching the Mancunian way, Danny. That's where I've been going with it, with these 11 assists.
I hope he's not been reading the chat. I hope he's been watching with the chat off.
Yeah. I hope he's just listening and not reading it.
Magnus, we'll have to see. We still have the striker position and the goalkeeper position to get to. Depending on how many weeks are left, we might do them both. I think we got enough time to do one each. But I will tell you that there is a Kiara Keating in this conversation, who is the keeper for the women's team. There's also an American, Zach Steffen, who played.
Don't pull the bias one, you two.
He's an American. What do you expect? I gotta shout him out.
No, if we were doing Crappy's goalies, then yeah, we'll do that debate. We're not doing Zach Steffen anywhere near. We're not doing that.
I'm not saying he's the best.
I remember that.
He wasn't.
Chelsea, it was.
I just gotta put him on the list.
Damn it, I still get PTSD from the semi-final, the final against Liverpool, and I'm stood behind the goal, and I watched him give the ball to Mane, and I went, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You've just given the ball to Mane. What
Tell
are you
what,
doing? You clown?
it's a good shout from Curtis there. We've got striker and goalkeeper left, and David James played both positions for us. So
Yeah.
Ooh,
Do you know what? Do you know what? For me, I'm
interesting.
going to be honest with you. It is a toss-up between Alex and David. It has to be.
oh, David James is more a Liverpool guy though. That's the thing.
No, he was great for City though. I loved him. But Alex Williams was good, but that was towards my very. I don't think did I see him play? It was in the 80s when I can't.
Alex Williams. Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I've met Alex. He's coached me, Alex Williams.
Really?
Mm,
Yeah, 1980, 1986. You would have been a toddler, wouldn't you?
Big up to Don Hussam and everybody that's come over from his channel on the raid. Appreciate each and every one of you.
Fraud. You're a fraud. You, sir, are a fraud. I know you're in the chat. Stop hiding. You're in the chat. You're an Arsenal fraud. Don't lie. I'm talking to you, you Liverpool fraud. What?
Wait a minute. He's doing me a favor and you're calling him a fraud.
I will call Sam every fraud while he's glossing his.
There he is right there.
There you go. There you go.
He called me. Call you a fraud. It was not me.
He insulted me earlier. He insulted me.
Uh-oh.
Be kind to him. His country's going to get 0 points in the World
Cup.
Oh,
no. Anyway.
Oh, that's a shot from Danny. Yeah. So big ups to everybody that just came over. I certainly do appreciate it. Again, big up to
the raid.
Yeah, thank you so much to each and every one of you. He said, "Control your panel, Tarek." I know, right? You can't be assaulting verbally our guests and people who grace us with a raid. But anyway, one of the things we're doing.
Tariq, he called me Professor Hamza earlier.
Ooh. American. Yes, I am an American. So yes, but I don't think it should matter. I appreciate you being here regardless. I know all of you that just came over, most of you are probably not City fans, and that's okay. Again, we've been talking City, but again, this is about football in general. So I'm appreciative of each and every one of you guys being here. So get involved, get in the chat. There's also a link posted in the there's a pinned message that has a link. If you want to come on stream and you want to have a conversation with us, you're welcome to do that. Now I'm going to ask you some questions, so you're going to have to be able to speak up and voice your thoughts or whatever, but that is an option that's available to you too. So if this is your first time here, big up. I appreciate you. You can see at the bottom of the screen, I'm trying to get to 500. So please do help out. We American, it's called soccer. You know what? I mean, if I'm talking to people from the States, I'm going to call it soccer. My kid played soccer. She didn't play football. She played soccer. But when I'm having a conversation with everybody else, it's football. So I can try to do both. I don't think it changes too much for me. But Briggsy calls you Professor Hamza too. So you gotta come for him too, not just Hussam. So
Sam's double down.
Tell you what, Martin, you're getting there with the hairline. You'll be like him in a few years.
The Stockport Martin. So is that Hamza's the Stockport Martin?
Look what Donna Sam put a few comments earlier though.
Oh, did I miss it? Oh, guys, I have a secret to share with you. Martin used to support Stockport back in the day. Interesting. So now
coming from the Tranmere Rovers fan.
Oh,
you be quiet and get your box.
Tranmere Rovers. Wow. But
hey, Tariq,
there you go. Here you go. Boo Hussam, the closet Tranmere fan.
Tariq, breaking news. We used to get beat off Tranmere in the 90s.
Well, it sounds like we got beat off a lot of people back in the 90s. So how far? Here we go. Up the road. So Hussam, you've let me on your channel, and I appreciate it. If you want to come on and you want to have your say at Martin, you can hit that.
Oh link. No, I'm going.
No, you don't have those kind of words.
I know it's late where you are, but if you want to be able to say it in person, jump on and I'll get you on real quick and I'll let you have a little back and forth with Martin. But for everybody that's in the chat, we were just having a conversation because I am an American, as was pointed out a few minutes ago. And over here in America, it is Black History Month. And so I was asking, as City fans, our favorite, or just to, Black defenders that have played for City. We were keeping it to defenders because each week I'm doing a different position. So if you are a fan of a different club and you have, list out your favorite Black defender for your club. But we've already listed names like Ashley Cole and some others. So there's a number of great players that are out there. So feel free to jump in the chat and do that. But I do want to pivot.
Sorry, Tariq, just on that. Do you know what's sad? And it is something that, I know the football world is addressing. When you ever talk about Black managers at Manchester City, you kind of at a bit of a loss with it.
So to be honest,
that's in football in general, isn't it?
I was gonna say in general, yeah. And that's so again, I don't want to Americanize it because I'm going to call that out in a minute. But in the NFL, it was the same thing. There weren't a lot of Black coaches, and that goes down through historical reasons. But they tried to put in a rule that basically ensured that not Black coaches got the job, but they at least got interviews. They got interviews, and then once the people were getting interviews, it kind of led to more Black coaches. But I've been watching footy for 13, 14 years at this point, actually 26. So probably about 13 years. And I can probably count on one hand how many Black coaches I've seen come through. I remember, was it Chris Houston or
Chris Houghton? Yeah. Brian.
Houghton. Yeah. I remember him. And there's a few others that I can recall off the top of my head.
Darren Moore was an interim at West Ham.
Yeah. Darren Moore. So but it's not a lot. It's not a lot, and that is something that I think hopefully over time we start to see change. Somebody said not Micah Richards, that's for sure.
Big up Fogger.
So we did.
I don't think City have ever had a Black manager actually.
Yeah. So speaking of, big shout out Curtis Matheson. Liam Rossinier, right now. So big ups to him. And again, I'm not a Chelsea fan. I hope he does well, but not so well that they beat us, right? Just do whatever. Graham Shoplin says, is that the Rooney Rule? Yeah, that was the Rooney Rule, or is the Rooney Rule, but I think they've changed it now, or they've gotten rid of it or whatever. But again, it was intended so that people got interviews. Again, not necessarily guaranteeing they got positions, but they just needed to get interviews. And then as they got interviews, it started to open up and people started to get positions. And then once you started getting, now you got to win or lose on your own. And that's white, black, red, yellow, green. It don't really matter. Once you get into these positions, you have to perform. And so, we'll see. Shout out to Vinny. If he comes back, he might be City's first Black manager. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if he comes back and can be, like you said, one of the first, if not the first, Black manager at City. So feel free to put those defenders in the chat. I see a shout for Ince. I don't know if that's because he's a manager or as a defender. I think he played as a defender.
He was at Pollard.
No, midfielder.
Midfielder. Okay, so maybe it's a defender as a manager there.
He was United, Liverpool, Inter Milan.
Didn't he train though his son though at this
Wolves? Club? He played at Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Is he at West Ham? I kind of want to say he was. Don't know though.
He
was right at the start. West Ham.
Yeah, they bought him from West Ham.
Yeah.
So City of Angels is trying to make jokes. Mangala. Yeah, we shouted him out a little bit earlier.
He mentioned Echeverri earlier, so I thought he was making jokes.
Yeah, he's got jokes, but appreciate it, man. He was Blackburn manager.
Blackburn manager.
So we talked about Savinho and we talked about Pep's comments about him. What I haven't seen yet is Doku. I think Doku he adds so much to what we do as City fans, as a City attack, that he's, in my opinion, one of our biggest misses at the moment. Now, that's not to be player FC and position him against somebody else, but I just think that we're missing what he brings to the table. His ability to carry the ball, his ability to take defenders on one-on-one, get to the byline. Again, he's not been the best at putting those crosses in, but now that you have Semenyo making maybe a near post run, Holland making a back post run, you can actually get some of those, hopefully some more goals out of that. But I think Doku is definitely missing. Does anybody heard anything about when he's coming back? I looked at FOTMob, they just list him as being doubtful with a calf injury.
Pep said he's not too far back, though. It's not like as close as Savino, but
I'd say a couple of weeks.
George says Jokers can't even sell out your home ground and calls us plastic fans. And he's probably shooting that at me because I'm an American City fan, and so I get the plastic thing all the time. It doesn't hurt me. George, one thing you'll learn about me is I'm a fully grown man, brother. I'm in that category where these kind of things don't bother me. But I will say there's a number of reasons why the home ground is not necessarily sold out. I can't tell you those reasons because I'm not in Manchester. I'm not one that's going local to the matches, but Martin is, and so there's a chance where if you go to Martin's channel, you can hear him talk all about that and give you all the thoughts and all the reasons why. And quite honestly, I think it's an issue based on what I've heard and what I can hear and what I can see. It's an issue not just with City, but with a lot of clubs around the Premier League and how they are treating fans at the moment. And quite honestly, there's a reaction to that. But George, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the interaction, man. Thank you.
Tariq, I'd explain it, but you know what? They're not interested because they're doing it for banter. They're not interested.
Of course, and that's why I said I'm not thrown off. But if you really want to know, then
it's all on my channel. It's all on my channel. I did a show on it last Thursday, so yeah. It's all there.
So, all right. So we talked about Doku, we talked about Savino. I wanted to get into transfers. And I know you said you had some updates. So tell us about the updates before I get into any of these individual players.
Victor Hayes.
Yes.
The plan as of right now is to go on loan within the Premier League.
Fair enough.
Any parameter?
Don't know any clubs. Not been sounded out fully yet. But the plan is to go on loan in the Premier League because he's going to be way behind the pecking order, and they don't want to stomp his growth. Whether he's happy with that, I don't know. That's maybe a conversation.
Depends on the World Cup. It depends on the World Cup.
I think it will depend on the conversation between his agent, him, and City. And if City go in and they give him a plan, and they say within 2 years you're here, there, then I think there's a fair shout. But there's no point in bringing him back just to sit on the bench and play cup games. That's pointless. You can do that with a kid.
Hold on before you move, because I saw this video pop up on social media. I don't know what this is gonna look like as far as like getting me in trouble, but I did see this and I thought this was like, okay, let's go. So let's watch this a little bit. Picks the ball up and just carries it out.
Victor Reis getting forward, and he might have to go it all on his own, the centre-back. He went down on the edge of the area.
Picks the ball up back at...
He's won a free kick.
The turntables.
Run from Victor Reis. I think the team said, all right, good luck.
He picked the ball up basically just outside the D and dribbles, carries the ball all the way down the pitch.
Extremely good ball carrier.
He's got a special skill set, man.
How the turntables.
He's got a special skill set, and I'm excited for his future. I'm also again, when we talk about these players, all these players aren't gonna get first team games right away. And so this was the thought that I had when I saw it, right? Our own Saliba, because I saw the comments about him potentially going on a loan in the Premier League. Now, Saliba's loans were in France, but he was on loan for like 2 years. And I think I saw where we might loan him like on a 2-year loan to a club, which gives him some stability with the same club. But on one hand, I would hate to have him not be available to us. What I don't want is the club to go buy somebody that stands in the way.
Yeah,
I think this kid is gonna be great, but like all players, he needs an opportunity to play. And so bringing him back, I don't think makes the most sense because he's probably not going to get out in front of Diaz. He's probably not going to get in front of Gahey. He's going to be competing with Kuzanov. So he's not going to get in front of Gvardiol. So he needs to play. I like the idea of him going and getting game time, going on loan, but I just don't want us to put too many blocks in front of him, keeping him out of the team because he deserves, well, I don't know that he deserves, right? I've only seen, I can watch matches and see what he does. But until he comes back and does it consistently for City, we'll have to see. But Dylan said YouTube is down. I had to search Tarek to even get here. I don't know, but I'm glad you found it, brother. Appreciate you as always for being here. So what do you think? You were saying that you think he's going to go on loan because again he's not going to play loan in the Premier League, which means he wouldn't be able to play against us. So we're not concerned about that. Do you think that and this is for all of you, do you think he has a future with City? Because again, the concern has always been when people leave, they often don't come back. Do you see him having a future with City?
Yes, if he's patient. Patience will be the key with it. If he's patient, then yes, he'll have a future. If he's not, and he does a
Palmer,
Bob, Rico, I'm sorry.
Well, Rico's not done anything yet, so you can't throw Rico in there.
No, chuck Rico in because he has one who's been banging on the manager's door about not playing. Echeverri, for example. I know people might find that one a bit hard, but that was why he went on loan because he wanted to play in the Champions League. He didn't want to be a bit part player at City. And that's what he was told. He wasn't going to be in the Champions League, and that's what he wants to be. It comes down to a patience thing. It's where we're at, it's patience. And again, also who we buy. Because if you say you go and get a Livramento, well, you've got two right backs. You're going to have 2 left backs. You're going to have 4 or 5 centre backs.
So who would be the 5th center back if he doesn't come? If he goes on loan, you got Gvardiol, Diaz, Gahey, Kuzanov. Who's 5? Is it Max Alleyne?
Max Alleyne potentially. I know they are looking at a new deal for him. Whether or not he wants to do that, again, it's so hard because once you are known as, because I know the club won't say you are 5th choice. They won't say you're 4th choice. They just say you're going to play when we can. You're rotational. It's how the player. Sometimes it's how the player reacts to that. Because, for example, and I'm using the same names. Pep said at the start of the season to a number of players, you are not going to play a lot. So it may be in your best interest to go and find a move. 2 or 3 of them said, no, we're going to fight it. One said, no, I'm not moving at all. And I'm here till the end.
We know who
which
that
is
was.
great.
That was John Stones.
Yes. Rico Lewis turned down his move to Forest. Oscar Bob and that said, no, we'll give it to January, see how we go. Well, Oscar Bob give it to January and then wanted to leave. What somebody says in August, July, August, can change by January. Change very quickly. And the problem is, and Danny knows this with the EDS, it's about a pathway through.
Yeah. Spot on.
If there's no pathway, they don't want to stay. If there is a clear pathway and you put it out on paper, then great. And also, I think you have to listen to the club a little bit.
Which is what Echeverry's found out, right? Because the club was trying to get him to go to Girona from the beginning, and he had his reasons to want to go to Leverkusen, but
because he wanted to play the Champions League.
Yeah, but that backfired, and he wasn't playing at all. And so now he has his comments about how much he's enjoying and how he's got to get back to. And I've got the tweet somewhere, but he's got to get back to that level that saw City go by him. So it's like, had you like you said, if you listen to the club, then maybe those issues don't happen. So Martin, I want to make sure Kathy gets her news. So you told us about Vitor Hayes going on loan in the Premier League.
Yep.
You said, were you going to say something? Did you have any more news that you need to break?
Yes.
Or you need to update us on?
As of now this can change. Bernardo Silva is 100% leaving as of now.
Is anybody surprised by that? Because I'm not.
No, but the phrasing seems very contradictory, saying he's 100% leaving, but it could change.
Yeah.
Because players can always change their mind.
Right.
But right now, as of now, he's 100% going.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is if he does change his mind, the club would be open to it.
Yes. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. He wants to go, the club want him to stay.
Yeah.
The club are open to talking extensions. At the moment, he shut all that down.
Okay, fair enough then.
So it's whether it's one of them. It's like the
Fernandinho.
I think it depends also on the wages because he signs a 1-year deal, might not get 300k a week, may have to drop down to 150k a week. Not every player is going to do that. KDB wouldn't do that. It dropped, but he also then wanted to play. There's so many factors into it because if you bring in an Anderson, for example, is that Bernardo's time lessened? Yes. Does Bernardo want to lessen his time at 30-31? Or does he feel he can do 2 or 3 years somewhere else? The trouble is, it depends what a player wants. Does a player want to play? That's the main question. It's very hard for a player to become a bit part player or a rotational player. That doesn't sit well with a lot of players. A lot of players don't like that because that's all they know. All they know from the age of 4 and 5 is on that pitch kicking a ball around. When you're sat on the sidelines getting splinters in your backside, that's like just being sat at home.
Yeah.
For us in a job.
True.
Yeah. So
It's
this
hard.
question, Walter has been asking this throughout the chat, wanted us to get to it. So I do want to make sure we get his question answered too. Livramento, I saw a tweet today saying that the club were still interested and would be interested. What do you know about that, Martin?
Yeah, still there. I don't know why. I have major concerns on his injuries, but the interest is still there. Pep's wanted this guy from Southampton days. I worry about his knees.
Wasn't it the same? Wasn't it? I know it's kind of a ridiculous comparison, but wasn't it the same with Gundogan before he joined? Because it seemed like his knees were really.
He did
not that.
Newcastle
are going to ask for a silly fee. Newcastle are going to be talking 60, 70 million quid. I don't think City are going to get anywhere near that.
I don't think you need someone of this quality either. I think it's more competition for Nunes as opposed to an upgrade.
So one thing I did get told today, which is Mary got told us in an email, City at the moment, obviously things can change depending on a player's availability and something coming in. Right now, as of right now, they're never going anywhere near 100 million for a player ever again. They won't do it.
Yeah, I think there are players that are worth 100 million, but I don't know, you know, outside of like a Holland or somebody like that, I don't think it makes sense. But again, the market has been skewed to a point. It's just like the housing market here in the States. At some point, you have to pay what you have to pay because that's what all the houses are going for. If all the players are 80 and above, you kind of have to go there.
Not only that, Tariq, I know I heard LB mention this the other day, and I wish I was on because I did want to correct him. LB said we're fine with homegrown. We're not. Next season, we're going to be screwed back on homegrown again. So I think that's part of the Livramento issue. I think he fits nicely into that little bracket of homegrown, and it's a player Pep wants because potentially we're going to lose 6 homegrown players in the summer.
Trafford.
Yeah.
Stones.
Then it
Rico.
changes.
And Trafford is the most problematic one because just
Trafford,
having a backup goalkeeper who's that good, who's English, you're just not going to get that.
Exactly. It's like ideal, isn't it, Dan? It's like an ideal situation that just sits nicely. Good age, homegrown, brilliant number 2.
And can do all the
only one I can say is the one who's at Newcastle, but I don't think that's going to happen.
You talking about Nick Pope or Ramsdale?
Ramsdale, but I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah, and then he's just so different. He's so different that I don't know that. Like Trafford was kind of he's kind of an in between. He's probably better with his hands than Ederson was, and he's better with his feet maybe than Donnarumma is, but collectively he's not better than Donnarumma. But I don't think Ramsdale's close.
City Slacker's spot on with what his comment there, so it's obviously now public news. Oh, it's going around the people who speak to people. They're a bit traumatized on the Grealish fee.
Yeah.
Pep likes it was great. I don't think the behind the scenes people were like, we didn't really get our monies out of that one. I think it did trauma. I mean, but you think about Nathan Aki 1, Stones 2, Trafford 3, Rico 4. God, there's going to be somebody else. 4.
You said 6.
So you just said 4 names, and we brought in 2 people, right? We brought in Gahey. We brought in Semenyo. So that's
Semenyo and Gahey.
So we're collectively down 2.
Yeah, you're going to have Semenyo, Gahey, Foden. So there's 3, but they're 3 guaranteed.
Well, you also have the situation of Husanov and Savinho turning 21.
Yes, that's a big thing. Husanov and Savinho go into the European quota next season. The foreign quota, they go into the 17 next season.
As opposed to like the B team or whatever.
I suppose. Yeah, so there's Rico, Trafford, Stones, Ake, Grealish.
But do you think Rico actually leaves?
Yeah, I do. If Rico stays, I'm then questioning his mentality on football.
Okay, so this then brings up the conversation about Elliot Anderson. We've heard that it is.
Oh, Nico Riley. Nico Riley will be one.
Yeah, we've heard that Anderson is close, or maybe even potentially could have gotten it over the line in the January window potentially, but they wanted to hold on to him. I actually heard, and I don't tend to watch his channel very often, but I saw a short with Mark Goldbridge in it, And because again, Elliot Anderson is considered one of the targets for United. And he basically said that it's almost effectively done Anderson to City. Now, of course, anything can change. But that he thought that Anderson to City was pretty much done, which I thought was interesting because, again, it's a non-City fan saying this. It's not a City content creator saying this. This is a rival basically saying that this is pretty much a done deal.
It's pretty no news. Yeah, it's pretty. The only thing stopping that is the fee. City won't pay. City ain't going to get anywhere. Like I said, if they're going to ask for 80, 90, 100 mil, City won't pay that.
So based on what you know, we've talked about Tino Livramento. We're talking about Elliot Anderson. What is a reasonable fee that now, again, if Forest go down, this whole thing changes.
Yeah, there's that release.
This whole conversation changes.
Yeah. Well, I think he's got. Well, no, I'm not sure it's going down. Now again, these are rumors. Nothing's been confirmed. Apparently, the release clause is if Forest don't get in Europe, he can go to a Champions League club for about 60, 65 mil, which is actually City's sweet spot. That's their comfortable zone. And obviously, it will also depend on payment terms. Has to be on payment terms as well. Because City will, for example, City went and paid $1 million over Semenyo's release clause
to get the terms they want.
To get no payment for 12 months. So it was like buy now, pay later. Basically.
Karma.
Okay, so what about?
Know. So the Emerson one is a weird one. Sorry. The Emerson one is a weird one because and Danny, you've heard me say this and Louis 1,000 times. Yeah. I'm thinking Rodri holds the key to a lot of this.
Yeah, you've said
Rodri is the key holder here because right now this contract is just 50-50. Nobody knows which way this is going to go. At the moment, the indication is everyone's going, it's positive, it's this, that, and the other. The contract is there. They've offered the contract for months. It's not signed. And in City's head, see, this is where the difference. This is where I think you might see a Pep Viana clash. Viana does not want him to go on a free. Pep's quite willing for him to go on a free. Viana's like, no. We sell in the summer. We don't just cash out. So, and then the other thing is Unique O'Reilly situation now because he's suddenly been pumped into midfield and Foden's been made as a deeper role.
Yeah. So this brings up another thought that I wanted to revisit, and that is this gentleman. Man City have been told they will have to pay 60 to 70 million to prize Morgan Gibbs White away from Nottingham Forest this summer. Again, Nottingham Forest being targeted. Is there a world in which we go for both Morgan Gibbs White and Elliot Anderson?
They like both. They like both. Gibbs White's wanted by a few clubs. Again, Gibbs White isn't going to. Listen, I'd give my left arm for a Gibbs White in our midfield right now. The engine on that guy, I think, is exactly what we need. Anderson seems to be the guy they want. Again, though, but they've also looked at Tonali.
But Tonali doesn't help with the English quota. Gibbs White and Anderson would.
I think it'll come down to price. I think they've got to have an A, B, and C to it. They'll have a list of 3 or 4 players, and it'll be right. We can't get target one because they're not going to relent. If Forest come out with a stupid fee and say there is no release clause, and they are sticking to 80, 90, 100 mil, City will move to target 2. Well, City will not be blackmailed into getting their guy.
I think Don't you think Anderson might push Forest into getting the deal done with City? Because
nope, won't work that because it didn't work for Gibbs White, did it?
So Martin, and let me pull this down so we can actually
The
see.
problem is you got is Marinakis. Marinakis is a stubborn old bird, and
So-
he will stick his heels straight in the ground and not move.
How many non-homegrown can you have? Is it number 18 or is it 17? I think it's 17. So Curtis, I saw your tweet, or not your tweet, but I saw your message. The answer, so you got 18 non-homegrown, where the answer is actually 17. So we need one more. You got Bettinelli, Nico O'Reilly, Max Lane, if he stays around, Gahey, Foden, Semenyo, Anderson.
No, Max Lane won't be in it because how old's Max Lane?
he's going to be 20. I think isn't he 20 right now?
I think he turns
Right,
21.
Right, it won't be included then. It'll be.
He won't have to be included. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
And everyone's just presuming Anderson's done. Until that fee's agreed, I don't know which one it is. Could be Tonali.
Yeah, to me, Tonali, unless you're losing Rodri, because then you have a non-homegrown space to open up. It just doesn't make sense to go. He's a great player. I don't dislike him.
It doesn't make sense to me, full stop, because this is when I'm confused. Say Rodri extends, you're gonna have Rodri. These are your midfield options.
Well,
And this is with you're gonna have Rodri, Foden, Reinders, Nico J, Nico Ryler, Cherka, Mamouche can also play. So it depends on the formation, because it's like the Doku stuff. If you start inverting Doku, he takes a midfield place. He's not a winger anymore. He inverts and then he's running into traffic.
Yeah.
So I suppose it depends on formations. It depends on a lot of things. But my thing is, and the one thing we can't do, we've got to be careful, because I know someone in the comments is going to tell me Kovacic. Promise you now, Tariq, someone will say, well, he'll replace Kovacic. You can't have Anderson replacing Kovacic.
There's no minutes there.
There's no minutes.
He's literally played 0 minutes this season.
You can't replace a body. I've got to look at the minutes they're taking, because Anderson's not coming in to play 300 minutes. He wants to come in to play 3,000 minutes, not 300.
At least.
Kovacic isn't there to play 3,000 minutes. You know what I mean? So I don't know. This is the issue. I'm not sure, because I didn't think the big one is for me, and I'm not sure you guys wasn't expecting Foden to drop into this deep role. I didn't have that on my bingo card.
No, I don't know that I did either, but because he's dropping, when you say into this deep role, you're not talking about him playing as an 8. You're talking about him kind of coming deep, getting the ball off the center backs, and I don't think I had that in my plans for this season either. Big up to Snoopy. I know you had a kind of a troll in the chat, but that's why I made you a whatever admin, whatever the thing is called. I don't know. But yeah, we'll have to add some more folks to help out as well to make sure that kind of stay on top of that kind of stuff. So
Cameron's got there. Bernardo's going. Anderson is his place. But you can look at that as a body, but he's not going to play that role.
Well, when you say he's not going to play that role, because Bernardo's played like an 8, or maybe we played like
a 6/8,
kind of 6/8,
at the moment, But that's what Foden's then been playing at the moment, which is about. But then where's Nico G going? Because the thing is, Nico G's not going to sit on a bench.
Yeah, that's the thing that concerns me, because like even when Pep has shown a reluctance, borderline a refusal to play Nico G and Rodri together, and I think maybe he's done it.
That's a no-go. He's not. He'd rather go with Nico Riley,
which is what he's been doing. Yeah, and then it's been a straight swap Rodri for Nico G, and then Nico O'Reilly's been in the midfield, and him and Bernardo.
I don't know what
Foden.
Danny and Louis think. I don't think he thinks Nico G's got the physicality to do that. I think he's got the passing range. I don't think he's got the physicality. I think that's where Nico O'Reilly has got the physicality.
To get up. Oh, when you say physicality, because I've seen,
no,
are you talking about just
always-
getting
I
up
always
and
go
down
back-
the pitch? What are we saying physical? Because I've seen Nico G be physical.
Yeah,
He breaks up play.
I think it's more for me. I think the glaring thing in it did my head in at the time was Spurs last season, and he had Kovacic as the 6 and Nico G as the 8. And I was like, why are you doing that? Have Nico G as the 6 and Kovacic go run around and try and help out with like where the ball is and whatnot. But looking back on it now, I get it because he's better at doing that kind of stuff, Kovacic, than Nico Gonzalez is. But yeah, it's hard because I think he knows Rodri's really that dependable now. So,
yeah, when Rodri is fully back, it's hard to, and there's no one that's better. There's no one that's going to get in.
Well, that's
spot.
where I'm at. Next season, you would expect Rodri to be back, won't you? You expect Rodri to be back at full tilt by next season.
Yeah, for sure. But then again, that's where the contract
issue
comes up. Yeah. Magnus says it's Nico G's mobility that concerns him. Again, it's his pace or lack thereof. But again, we talked when Rodri came, there was the Plodri conversation. So Nico O'Reilly recovery speed helps Rodri. Yeah, fair.
True.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, with Nico G, sometimes it's like the speed of his execution that gets on my nerves. Like sometimes he'll have the ball and he won't pass until he's like all the way closed down and he just barely makes the pass at times. And it's like, I don't know if that's a Pep defensive midfielder. I think he's been tremendous this season. But again, I think you see night and day when Rodri has performed this season. Again, it's the difference between a good player and a Ballon d'Or player.
It's rich man problems, isn't it? It's rich man's problems.
Yeah. Exactly.
We're sat here like, what do we do? And he's like, by the way, we've not even mentioned Tijani Reinders yet. Like, you got to fit him somewhere.
Yeah.
Can we get on to the next subject, please?
That's another kind of polarizing player, polarizing conversation. And I think that, again, for him, first season, got to give him a chance to adjust to a Pep system. But, yeah, I guess technically, did he come in the January window last year?
No, before the Club World Cup.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
June window.
Yeah. So you just got to give him a chance, but I don't want to open that door because we've already gone almost 3 hours. And that's just me just running my mouth.
To be a pain, can you just put Curtis's comment up?
Let me see, which one am I missing from
one with the legs.
Here we go. Yep. Here we go. So we got Donnarumma, Bettinelli as homegrown, Nunez, Josko, Gvardiol, Diaz, Kuzanov, Gahey homegrown, Ryan Aït-Nouri, Nico O'Reilly homegrown, Rodri, Reinders, Nico G, Foden homegrown, Cherki, Doku, Semenyo homegrown, Savio, Marmouche, Holland. 19 players with 5 homegrown, which is that 19 total? So is that 14 and 5? Is that what it's basically saying?
Yeah. We're not going with the 19-man squad. No chance he's going to go with a 19.
So who is missing from this list? That means we got rid of Bernardo. We got rid of
Trafford, Ake, Stones.
Trafford, Ake, Stones.
This 19
Rico Lewis
doesn't have a backup goalkeeper.
And we got rid of Rico Lewis. Yeah. So we only have 2. So we need a third keeper, or we need a second keeper.
Yeah, well, you need a second keeper. Yeah. Probably they're going to try and add a midfielder and Livramento, for example.
Yeah. So again, if you included a Livramento and Anderson, that would be 2 more homegrown. It gets you to 21.
Yes.
21 and 7. And then you could keep keep going from there.
I still think Mamou should be gone, you know.
So, but what this says though is if we can have 17 non-homegrown, there's still 3 spaces for non-homegrown players that you could fill out.
No, you can only have 17 max.
17 max non-homegrown. Yeah, with this list, you could get 3 more players. Yeah, you could get 3 more. So yeah, this limit is 17 foreign spots. The way that this is set up, it has 14. So then you could add 3 more players and still be okay, but you'd also want to add some homegrowns to fill out the rest of the
that's what I mean by homegrown. Well, when I say problem, it's not a problem, it just means they're gonna have to sign some homegrown.
Yeah. So like if your second keeper is not homegrown, then that takes you to 15 non-homegrown.
How old's Nico Ryler? Sorry, is anyone Danny, how old's Nico?
2005, so I think he's turning 21 this year.
So I think he's the same age as my kid.
He won't be included then.
Which basically says you get him as a free, right? He doesn't count against the home. So you can just add him to the.
He's not in the squad.
Yeah.
Is it 21 and under that aren't counted, or is it?
It's 21. They've got to be 21 on the January before the season, so they have to be 21 in this January.
Okay.
So
I don't think
and then the UEFA Champions League one's even weirder because then you've got club trained, academy trained.
Yeah, where I think we're going to have more of an issue.
Association trained, and I'm sorry, there's so many damn rules around this at the moment.
No, and people tell me these rules have been around for ages. I didn't hear people talk about 5 years ago.
And then you've got, I don't know where, I mean, I can't, if someone can explain these Champions League homegrown, club trained, association trained stuff. It's crazy. Because by the way, we're not including Naipan. Are we not including is Echeverry gone then?
He's on loan.
Juma Ba gone?
Well, Juma Ba, I don't think is going to be on this list. So we have, I mean, you could bring Vitor Hayes, but again, the issue is not the spot in the squad. The issue is playing time.
Well, it's not just that. Everyone's looking at it just for this season. So, for example, they'll say, right, well, for this season, we're okay. But you've also then got to be careful because we're running out. You look at that list he's just put up. Correct me if I'm wrong, Louis, Danny, Tariq. There's not many old players that are like sort of timing out anytime soon.
The closest is probably Diaz.
Probably Diaz, isn't it? That's what I mean.
Which is why I think the idea of Vitor Hayes going on loan for 2 years is great because after that he'd be a straight swap with Diaz in the lineup.
Yeah, you've also got to look at long term
lineup, but
because they're not going to be under 21s forever. It's like Danny just done his spot on. Kushinoff and Savinio will come into the foreign quota this year.
Yeah.
So you may lose 2 foreign players, but you're then going to gain 2 into your squad.
Yeah. All right. So we are 2 hours and 49 minutes into this. I do want to bring it to a close, but I want to close, or before we close, I want to bring up one more tweet that I saw. And I said this earlier that I'm an American, but I am anti the Americanization of the sport. I think footy in general is the world's game for a reason, and we don't need to change it. But this is Todd Bowley, for the, I guess, owner or principal owner, whatever, of Chelsea and Blue Co and all that. But he says he is an American. He says, ultimately, I hope the Premier League takes a little bit of a lesson from American sports, really starts to figure it out. Why don't we do a tournament with the bottom 4 sports teams? Which I'm not really sure what that is intended to mean, but why isn't there an all-star game? Because if you talk about the bottom 4, we don't do that in the US. But you could say that they do that in the championship when they, not the bottom 4, but they do the playoffs and, to see who's going to come up. And then in Germany, if you are in that bottom, you do have to play against the teams in the division below to see who's going to come up. So that part I don't get. But why isn't there an all-star game? Now, I recognize that as an American, all-star games are normal for me. We just saw the NBA have its all-star game on Sunday. And somebody else just had an all-star game before that. So the NFL had its Super Bowl and the whatever their thing is called. It's not called the all-star game. But so I'm anti this, right? And I'm anti it because I feel like as an American, we always want to change stuff, and it makes me mad. We don't need to make it American. However, I'm interested to see what you think, Martin, what you think, Louis, what you guys think in the chat. Yeah, it's the Pro Bowl. Thank you, City Slacker. I couldn't think of it. It's the Pro Bowl for the NFL. I want to know what you guys think about an all-star game. Is that something that you would get behind? Not as a replacement for any other game or whatever, but just as a standalone. If they were to put an all-star game together, would that be something that you would be interested in seeing?
Absolutely not. For one, there's already too many games, and for
well, but you're an American. I don't. So I appreciate your.
Danny, you're a Yank. Shut up. Be quiet.
I'll let them go. Well, I just want to finish my point first.
Go ahead.
Again, all-star games in American sports, they typically happen mid-season.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they do like North versus South, and you have Holland going up against Gabrielle, and Gabrielle just snaps them in half because we're in a title race with them? Like, there's injury risk and there's tribalism, and again, no disrespect to American sports, but I feel like the tribalism in European sports and South American sports and whatnot is just a bit of a step above.
So Magnus asked the question, who would be the manager? So the way it works in American sports typically is the teams that are at the top, their coaches get to be the manager of one of the all-star game. So you don't have divisions in the Premier League. So let's just say it would be Pep and Arteta. They would be the managers for an all-star game.
And what a fantastic game that would be.
To Danny's point about them typically being mid-season, which is why I brought up the Pro Bowl, because that's the NFL Pro Bowl is actually at the end of the season. So you could do something like this at the end of the season, but Footy has all of the postseason tournaments and all that kind of stuff. So again, this is probably not practical for Footy, but I'm interested to just the idea. Do people like the idea? Is that something you would want to see, Martin? If it was say North versus South, and
not in the month of Sundays, not paying me, I wouldn't want to see it. No, I think it's stupid. I think it's leave the game alone. You can't start doing North versus South, because then what do you do about Birmingham? Well, where the Villa going? A Villa sort of stuck on this line and don't know where they're going.
You got to draw a line somewhere, and wherever you decide to draw it.
But the trouble is, it's called the Midlands, which is the middle of the country. So they've got to go somewhere. And then you've also, it's like this playoff idea. Well, that's great, but you can't do that because the Premier. See, this is where worries me with owners. Do they actually understand what they're entering into? Surely he knows the Premier League is a private members club, basically, that is owned by all 20 members. You can't have, for example, Coventry City going up against West Ham. I mean, you could, but the trouble is, you're going to have two associations clashing now. So now you're going to have the Premier League, and then you're going to have the Football League, and who's in charge of it?
So,
because they're two separate entities.
Yeah. Tell me, this is Lee Johnston, 9545. Lee Johnston says, I couldn't imagine a North versus South game where all the United and City players join forces to fight Arsenal and Spurs. Rivalries just go on pause. But could you imagine Liverpool, City, Man U versus Arsenal and the rest of the folks down there? Arsenal.
No, where'd you play it, Tariq? Which stadium?
Oh, you probably play it at Wembley, most likely.
No, but that's South.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have to pick some place. I don't know.
You got to play at like St Andrews or something. Just
Right.
right in the
Do you know,
middle.
Danny hit the nail on the head. Spot on about the tribalism. They will even get tribal over the stadium it's played in.
Yeah.
Never mind the players, because this is where this is no dig at America, and because I've been there and I think it's great. Danny's been there. I've been over in America. Danny's been here. Tariq, you've been here.
Magnus said they could play it in the U.S.
Anyway,
Curtis says it would be played in Sydney.
Mikel Arteta believes the long travel is the reason for his defeat against the North.
Yeah. And you know what? And you know the other thing is you're gonna have the fans kicking off all over the state. Honestly, I'll go back to the original question George, the Arsenal fan, said earlier. Why is there a lot more empty seats in Premier League games? Because of prats like Todd Bowler coming up with silly ideas, which is killing the whole game out. We have to spend millions on police in this country. Police. Because people are idiots. You think we're all going to get together in a circle and do Kumbaya? What is it? Blue Moon, You'll Never Walk Alone, Glory, Glory, Man United. Which song's getting sang?
Blue Moon, you'll never.
You have to make up your own songs. You have to make up new songs.
No.
You can have. Let's go back to the days when you could have had Trent Alexander-Arnold kicking balls into, playing balls into Holland up top, with KDB in the midfield. You don't like this idea, Mark?
No, Tariq. And I'll tell you what, the Club World Cup was played in July, June, whenever it was. Was there a lot of people from over there coming over? No, there wasn't. Yeah. Like I said, they're struggling to sell out the World Cup tickets because of the prices they're being charged.
Because of the prices. That's ridiculous.
I mean, it's like Todd Bowling needs to just focus on him, focus on his club. I'm sorry, I don't want to get into a big rant about this because I respect everyone's sports and how they run, but it's like me as a Brit coming over and saying, do you know what, your basketball needs to be more like A, B, and C.
It needs to have your relegation. There's people who are advocating for that.
Come on, and I get it. There's a marketplace and everything else, but it's like when ice hockey came to England. It had its day, did a few years, everyone loved it for a bit, and then it died. They did the basketball, Manchester Giants, it died.
But they're bringing, so pause for a second. They are bringing back, they're trying to bring back a EuroLeague team to Manchester basketball.
It won't work.
Which I think the new stadium that they're building, or the new arena or whatever that they're building is going to they're hoping to put a team in there.
No, it's already there. They want to use the co-op, but it won't work because for start off, that co-op has to have the contract for the co-op arena has to have so many gigs per week just to keep that going. There has to be an event on all the time, which is where they lied about that they'll never clash with games, which they do they clash all the damn time. I don't know. If it's not broke, why are we trying to fix it? I had enough in the Club World Cup watching them come out like they were on FIFA with fireworks going off at the side. Did you see the players? Some of them were like, nah, no thanks.
They're all stone-faced. They're like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like it was at some WrestleMania WWE.
So in the US, MLS, which is the top level league in footy league, soccer league here in the States, they do an all-star game because, again, they do everything that all the other American sports do. They're trying to be like all those other sports. And so what they have done is build one all-star team from MLS and then bring in, say, a Bayern Munich to play, or a Mexican team to play, or even a Mexican all-star team to play.
Yeah. They've been doing Mexican all-stars recently.
So would you get behind a PL all-star team versus a Serie A all-star team versus a Bundesliga all-star team versus a France all-star team? Because then it's not about
because that opens the door to the Super League.
Yeah.
Well, that would be
What's that?
Super League is more about clubs. This is more about leagues itself. But yeah, I get the point.
No, I think European football is
Total
just so
cringe.
tribal. It's so tribal. I mean, even the chants. And again, I was sat in the camping arena, and some of the chants me and Pat were saying, I thought I was going to get my head chopped off or arrested. And I'm just singing normal City songs, which obviously, you know, talking about singing drugs and City and all that. And, you know, it's not a big sort of certain things you can't say, which I didn't know at the time. And I'm like, referee, you're to see you next Tuesday. And like, whoa. Like, you know, they're doing the Mexican wave and we started singing What the effing hell is that? You know, and I don't know. I don't think we'll end up on one of these YouTube clip shows with an American listening to English chants and they're like show shots.
So
Can you
I
say
do.
that?
So I will tell you, like, my second favorite thing that I spend my time watching on YouTube, because most of the time I'm watching footy, right? Footy content creators. One of the second favorite things that I like to watch is like Brit reacts to whatever, some American thing. So whether it's food or whatever, it's like seeing the responses to that stuff is just funny to me, because they're like things that I take for granted they love or they hate, or vice versa.
Well, I
when they
watched
come
one
over
in
there
American
and eat
eating
food.
Scotch egg. You thought they put a sheep's testicle in the mouth the way they were looking at this Scotch egg.
No, they're not that.
Like, what? A boiled egg wrapped in sausage meat and breadcrumbs. It was like some weird sort of. Oh,
yeah, I mean, but again, it's the things that you take for granted because it's normal to you, that is not quote unquote normal to somebody else. Those things are always make me laugh, because, you know, whether it's, oh, well, this house is so big, it's bigger than, you know, this room is bigger than my house, or whatever. It's all the little things that are the differences between living in Europe, living in the UK.
When my missus went to Orlando last July, she's never been. I've been loads, so I knew you were going to get it. She just thought, you know, the nuclear orange, you know, like orange in America, it's like orange in it, like it's been dumped in a nuclear tank or something. Over here, it's like orange juice mixed with water, and they call it Fanta. But over there, she was like, why is it like a luminous orange? And why is everything got this, you know, you know what the food is? Which we're not allowed over here. They all get banned as soon as they get anywhere near the Brit sort of thing. You've got to have all this sugar taken out and everything else. And she was amazed by it. And I said, but the thing is, an American will be amazed by a UK food.
Yeah.
It's so same way we go to Japan, China, and eat their food, and they're eating cockroaches, or you go and you go to, but that's the point. To me, if you're going to go to a country, you should respect their values and their foods as well.
Yeah.
You shouldn't laugh at it. You should respect it. That's about learning traditions for me.
So when I came over there, you know, we did, you know, all those things or whatever. And like, we went to Nando, somebody put that up there. We went there, but we went to breakfast one day, and I asked, hey, can we get a full English breakfast? We're going to, you know, we're all going to try it. And the waitress, she looked at me and she was like, why do you want that? I was like, oh, we want to try it. She was like, no, you don't want to do it. And so she kind of talked us out of it. I was going to try it, you know, to see how it is, you know, beans on toast and all that. She was like, I can bring you beans on toast, but you're not going to like it. You don't want it. So we just ended up with pancakes.
Did she know you were American?
I would think she could tell by the way I talk, but
no, I'm only asking because it's like bacon, isn't it? It's like my missus, like a lot of the bread in America, you'll notice, is quite sweet, isn't it? But she would not touch it with a barge pole. She was like, I want like proper whole meal sort of bread, and she wanted like proper bacon. Like, they don't really do proper bacon here.
Yeah,
love.
no, bacon here is different to bacon there.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it was
Curtis, it's
and it
not
was
the
like,
same. It wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
And I need to do it. I'll tell you what, when I make my trip over to Manchester, maybe I'll get one of you guys to take me out and for breakfast, and then I'll try it then.
well, it's like jacket potato stuffed with cheese and beans. You can't just go and get that if you go stateside a lot.
Yeah.
It's not exactly on the menu, is it? Jacket potato with cheese and beans.
Mate, I know people who put tuna in their jacket potato, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, my daughter does. She puts tuna mayo, sweet corn on. She loves that.
Well, I said I wouldn't laugh. But it's difficult.
Do you know the big thing for my missus was when we were in Publix, she's going down a cereal aisle and she went, "You got any cereal that isn't coated in sugar?" I went, "Not really."
So
She was like,
black
"Where's
pudding.
the cornflakes?"
No.
Yeah. Haggis.
Can't stand it.
That'll put hairs on your chest.
Black pudding. Did you
I've
say
already got
no?
hairs on my chest. I don't need any more.
I don't like black pudding or
Yeah.
mushrooms.
Do you know what black pudding is, Tariq?
I like
I don't.
Right. Have you got a dicky tummy?
Do I have
wanna
a what?
put-
Are you
Do you
squeamish?
normally
Oh no,
are you
I'm good.
squeamish? Yeah, sorry.
I'm good.
It's basically congealed pig's blood fried.
It
mixed
tastes
with
better
bits
than
of
it sounds, to be fair.
To
To
me,
me,
Yeah,
not
it-
sound appealing at all.
Well, it's like haggis,
Uh.
isn't it? It's like it's like even Scotland and England. There's people in England that think a haggis is like some mutated alien food because it's basically a sheep's lining stomach with all the bits put in it and cooked and boiled.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not. So
We basically over there we like to make sure we get every part of the animal that we're eating. Every part of the animal gets eaten.
I've tried a
Yeah.
vast majority of like the unorthodox British foods. I still haven't tried haggis, and
yeah.
I still haven't tried what is they eat in East London, the jellied eels. Never had them.
Yeah, that's. Hey, you know you can't get gravy in London, like down
Oh, yeah.
south. You ask for gravy, they look at you like you got 3 heads.
Uh,
Gravy's a
yeah.
northern thing.
the grocery store like near my parents' house, they actually sold Marmite there, and I tried it, and it was awful. I can
Yeah.
see how people would like it, but it is absolutely.
Well, but
I saw it.
it's
I
like-
saw it on the shelf. I got all giddy. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna try it. And
have you ever tried Milo? It's like the Australians have Milo.
Mm-mm.
It's our version of like Nesquik. Or
Oh, okay.
yeah.
but Milo is nothing really like it. But the Aussies love it, and they have Vegemite, and everyone over there is like, no.
I tried that. I should have
Pickled
tried
onion monster munch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had that at
Space
the Sparring
Raiders.
Hotel, but I chose to get the Walkers instead.
Oh,
What
did you have
is
a sparring
this?
or
Oh,
hotel?
Daddy, no.
Near it, about 2 or 3 blocks away.
What are we doing here?
And the ATM said it didn't work, so I had to go to the Tesco a few more blocks down to get
This
cash
is
out.
insane.
Did you get a meal deal?
Insane.
I did
Get a
not
meal
get
deal.
No.
Oh, Daddy, you've not lived till you've had a birthday cake meal deal sandwich.
So deep fried Mars bar. I don't believe you guys get that over there. I don't
That's
believe
American
it.
Yeah.
if I've ever heard of it.
Scotland, no Scotland.
Because that's an American thing. You go to any like festival, carnival, whatever. They're gonna have deep fried anything and everything. So that's an American thing.
No, it comes from Scotland. When I'm going to Edinburgh, and they have them. Obviously, you've heard of chip shops, haven't you?
Yep.
So in Scotland, you can get like fish chips, deep fried Mars bar.
Mm,
Don't get me started on festivals, by the way.
yeah.
Oh.
Because you're in the States now, right?
Right.
No. Somebody's in the States. I don't remember who.
But do you know the weird thing is though? I've always said this. It's like the Christmas markets that you get in the UK.
Oh, I fucking
All
love
around
it.
Europe.
Fucking love
Every-
it, man.
No one sells like UK food. It's all food from around the world. So like
World.
Chinese.
It's not like
Korea.
these, like every single one. They've got these like Dutch pancakes. That's what I
Yeah,
noticed.
people go crazy for them. They go crazy and they'll
I
spend
know
a
what's
fortune.
good, though. The Yorkshire pudding wraps, love them. So good.
Oh, well, there's the other one. What they called corn dogs. Like you have corn dogs, but in
Yes, we have
like
corn.
South Korea and not North Korea, Jesus. South Korea and Jesus, not North Korea. Whoa, South Korea and like Japan, they have like corn dogs and they're filled with mozzarella cheese and all sorts of things. Yo, they go for mega money at Christmas times over there in the markets. Mega money. Like the cheese pound coins. You just go for anything. I think we're more savoury over there where you're more sweet, aren't you? We're more like
probably,
savoury.
yeah. Yeah, that's probably fair. All right, we are going to get out of here. But before we do, this is is the mashup that I thought was interesting.
Lamb's fried. Don't do that, Magnus.
Never
come back up. I thought this was interesting because the Dortmund Youth Academy was here in the States playing a tournament, and they went to a basketball game. It's an Ivy League game. You can see there's nobody there, but you can see that they brought that same energy that you would expect from a footy match. You know, the away fans cheering the whole game. I just thought this was pretty cool when I seen this because they said Dortmund posted it. The yellow wall is everywhere. Of course, they're not in yellow, but these are Dortmund Academy kids in the U.S. celebrating and just being themselves. And you can see nobody else is doing anything, but they're there. And supposedly they made the other team miss some free throws. So big ups to those kids for just, you know, bringing footy culture into normal or other American sports. So
Tariq, I can't let Magnus get away with that.
What did Magnus say? Lamb's fries?
Lamb's fries. Again, don't know.
Lamb's testicles covered in gravy.
Keep that. I don't want that.
We have we've got something called Rocky Mountain oysters over here. Isn't that bull testicles? I think that's what it is.
Wouldn't they be big?
Yeah, pretty big.
Yeah, lamb's fries are only like small. They're what I would call underdeveloped balls. Need a bit of pump it up. I bet Magnus is out there.
I got to get out of here. But big ups to everyone again. Thank you so much for everyone that has been here. Some of you have been here for the entire 3+ hours. I don't know how you put up with me, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting
Tariq, can I just promote
sure,
stateside?
Absolutely.
So
go ahead.
This is more to the chat. Tomorrow, obviously stateside, we're going to do the city being disrespected. But after that, we want to do like a Q&A from the chat. So you've got 24 hours to think of some questions to fire to Danny, if Tariq's on, etc. Beta, Kelster, you've got 24 hours to think of some good questions for.
Yeah, or just
football related
as well, and Martin can just star him and keep him there.
Yeah. Football related, not how many girlfriends Danny's had or Tariq's, you know, not personal questions. Football
on YouTube, or just on YouTube or DMs as well.
Sending me in DMs if you want, whatever they want.
Okay.
I'll do it in DMs and I'll stick something in the community post so people can like pop them in the day if they want, and I'll save them and make a list of them all. Because we want tomorrow to be a bit more relaxed. We'll have our meltdown at the beginning because I've had enough of people disrespecting Sarah.
Tell you, Curtis, it depends whether you count the same girl twice as one or two. Anyway, full time.
I like that, Danny. That's a good one.
That's funny. Big up, everybody.
No notes.
Again, do me a favor before you get out of here. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're new, I do want to shout out a couple folks that have subscribed. I already or shouted out Ain't Me earlier, but Mohammed Al Misfer, John Luigi Donnarumma, he heard me bigging him up earlier. He joined and subscribe to the channel. So big ups to him.
It's awfully nice of Spartacus to subscribe on 2 accounts.
Yeah, and then G Papa 87. Big ups to all of you. Again, there may be others that have subscribed as well. Who again, because of your profile settings, I don't get to see that. That's okay. I just appreciate all the support, all the love. Thank you.
How
so
many
much.
subs do you want, Tariq?
Well, it was 317 when I think 318, 3 something earlier today. So again, just pushing to try to get to that 500 number.
Come on, let's get to 500. Come on,
that round
if
number
you're new
there.
in the chat,
so
share it around to your friends, share it around the community with a family. Hit that thumbs up. Really get the love out for Tariq, because 3 hours. Come on, give the man some love.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Again, thank you so much to everyone for all your support. I hope you'll come back. We do this every Tuesday night. Again, I don't do it. I don't get on here all the time because I'm on with other content creators. So I try to make sure that I can still do all the dad things that I have to do and all that other stuff. But certainly appreciate each and every one of you. So hopefully you'll come back next Tuesday. Same time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, 11:30 p.m. UK time. We do this every Tuesday. So hopefully you'll join us again next week. Thanks again. Appreciate each and every one of you. Talk.